All right, you guys are on about a minute or two early, so I do want to get my other live streams going. So if you end up filtering in here, you're gonna have to give me a couple minutes to get this last live stream up, but we should be going. We should be going live on material. So bear with me for a minute while I get my last stream up. We're gonna be doing a Friday night politics session, but I do. Whoa, blue one bangs. Now that's the way to start it. I appreciate that, Blue One Banks. Thank you very much. I'm getting my last stream up, but I'm bringing you guys on TikTok, Substack, and Instagram a little bit earlier than normal. So you're gonna have to wait about a minute before I get things going before we do the live. And I'm bringing you up because I want to play a video, and I want the size of the TikTok audience to grow like it normally does, because in the beginning there's only 5 or 10 people and it grows. But I do want to play this. Tim, it's Friday and we're still at war. Elliot, we're going to be at war next Friday too. I'm going to tell you that. The Iranians are not backing down like that. So we're going to be at war next Friday as well. Probably next month this time we'll still be at war. I don't think that only way the war is going to end, in my opinion, is President Trump is going to have to back down on some of his objectives. Number one being, we want to put in a leader in Iran that Trump has some involvement with. I don't believe Iran is going to tolerate that. So as long as that objective is there, we're going to have to continue taking out Iranians. I don't think the Iranians are going to let us choose their leader. I think anybody in Iran should be smart enough to know that is not in your best interest. That's not going to work well for you. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're good to go for the live. So welcome to the program. It is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. There's a few topics going on, but fortunately the world has not fallen apart. So having said that, we're going to have a Friday night politics session, which is generally a free-for-all, where we do let the people speak and engage and kind of direct the show as well. But I do got a few topics I want to run by you. And before I do, I got a video. Now, this video is about 5 or 6 minutes long. So I don't normally play videos that long, but I do want you to hear this one. Now, some of you may have already heard this before, but I do want you to hear it because I think it's interesting. Now, this guy is the one that recently beat Jasmine Crockett for the Democrat nomination for Senate down in Texas. I've been listening to this guy today, and I'm going to tell you, I think Texas made the right choice with this guy. I think Texas made the right choice with this guy over Jasmine Crockett. But I want you to hear this video, and then we'll start the show momentarily. This video is about 5 minutes longer, so I'm not going to play the whole video, but I do want to hear some of it. And I see Titan Gatekeeper says, I bet you do. Well, perhaps after hearing this, you may understand why. Because he makes an interesting point.
I don't know how much writing is really getting done. I sent him a text asking for some inspiration for this sermon, and he sent me this. It's the top reasons beer is better than religion. Number one, when you have beer, you don't knock on people's doors trying to give it away. Number two, there are laws against forcing beer.
Okay, I'm not going to play because his comedy is not what I want to talk to you about. I want to actually talk to you about the messaging to the madness. So, it'll be in the end of the joke. Brother Tim, when are you going to be back on YouTube? We're on YouTube right now, bro, Akil. We're on YouTube now.
My granddad was a Baptist preacher. I've been a member of this church since I was 2 years old. And now I'm in seminary studying to become a minister myself. My faith means more to me than anything. But if I'm being very honest, sometimes I hesitate for telling someone I'm a Christian. There is a cancer on our religion. Until we confess the sin that is Christian nationalism and exorcise it from our churches, our religion can do a lot more damage than a six-pack of Lone Star. There is nothing Christian about Christian nationalism. It is the worship of power, social power, economic power, political power in the name of Christ. And it is a betrayal of Jesus of Nazareth. He told us we would know them by their fruits. Jesus includes, Christian nationalism excludes. Jesus liberates, Christian nationalism controls. Jesus saves, Christian nationalism kills. Jesus started a universal movement based on mutual love. Christian nationalism is a sectarian movement based on mutual hate. Jesus came to transform the world. Christian nationalism is here to maintain the status quo. They have co-opted the Son of God. They've turned this humble rabbi into a gun-toting, gay-bashing, science-denying, money-loving, fear-mongering fascist. And it is incumbent upon all Christians to confront it and denounce it.
Amen.
Christian nationalism is on the rise. 2 years ago, Christian nationalists stormed the US Capitol, killing police officers while carrying crosses and signs reading, "Jesus saves." Last year, Christian nationalists on the US Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, allowing states like ours to outlaw abortion, even in cases of rape and incest. And as we speak, 2 Christian nationalist billionaires are trying to replace public schools in Texas with private Christian schooling. We are closer than we think to a Christian theocracy.
Sapper, thank you.
How did this happen? The first followers of Jesus didn't call themselves Christians. They called themselves the Way. Their crucified teacher taught them a different way of being human, and they intended to follow it.
It's almost over.
The early church was a revolutionary community built on radical love, a peculiar people who shared all their possessions and refused to participate in the economy, the military, or the culture. The book of Acts tells us that the first Christians were persecuted for turning the world upside down. But 300 years after Jesus was executed by the Roman Empire, Emperor Constantine made Christianity the official state religion of that very same empire. Constantine was the first Christian nationalist. And ever since, the powers that be have been taming Christianity, domesticating it, diluting it into something more palatable. Pro-war, pro-wealth, pro-white supremacy. That original countercultural movement became a tranquilized, privatized, weaponized religion, the official sponsor of Western civilization. A religion of sharing became a religion of greed. A religion of peace became a religion of violence. A religion of forgiveness became a religion of judgment. A religion of ego transformation became a religion of ego affirmation. Today, Christian nationalists obsess over people's private parts while the planet burns. 8 men own as much wealth as 3.6 billion people, and Christian nationalists are boycotting Barbie. The Bible doesn't mention abortion or gay marriage, but it goes on and on about forgiving debt, liberating the poor, and healing the sick. Christian nationalists like to say this is a Christian nation. Not only is that historically inaccurate, not only is that theologically blasphemous, but it's also just not true. Look around us. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would forgive student debt. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would guarantee health care to every single person. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would love all of our LGBTQ neighbors. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would make sure every child in this state and in this country was housed, fed, clothed, educated, and insured. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would never make it a Christian nation, because we know the table of fellowship is open to everybody, including our Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and atheist neighbors.
Here's the closer.
Jesus could have started a Christian theocracy, but love would never do that. The closest thing we have to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy where power is truly shared among all people, something that's yet to exist in human history. Christian nationalism is not only a threat to the American experiment in democracy, it's also a threat to the gospel of Jesus Christ. When someone asked Jesus to name his most important commandment, he cheats and gives two. Two that he says are related. The first is to love God. The second, he said, is like it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It's like it because when I recognize the divine image in myself.
And I'll stop it there, but for folks who are wondering who this is Tallarico. This is the guy running for Senate in Texas that beat Jasmine Crockett last week. That's who this is. This is Tallarico. This video is about a year ago. I happened to stumble upon this, and I've been listening to this guy all day long. And I'm thinking that Texas may have, this is for the folks on the left. I get the folks on the right are going to think a lot of this is bullshit. I get that. But for the folks on the left, I'm hearing this. And by the way, in the comments, JDR, you're saying everybody knows who he is. Then why are there people in the comments asking, who is he? So I don't think you know what you're talking about. But for folks who, who lean left, I kind of wonder if the left in Texas did not indeed make the right decision. Listen, a lot of folks favor Jasmine Crockett. Now, she obviously lost, but a lot of folks favor Jasmine Crockett because she was going after President Trump. Fine, that's fine. Trump won't be here forever. The point I'm making is this sort of mindset, we need this forever. Long after Trump is gone and there's nobody for Jasmine Crockett to attack, what he is saying will still apply. I'm not even religious anymore, and I favor a lot of what this guy is saying. I like the way he orates it. He's not attacking anyone. I really like the way he's doing this. Simply put, this is a way of talking to folks without alienating anyone. He's not alienating anyone. He's not attacking anyone. It's not divisive. And it comes across as clear as day. Now, this is a year ago, like I said. So this is before Jasmine Crockett was even in the race. This is not politics. This guy is just simply giving you his spiel. He also has a really good video I'm not going to play that's on Joe Rogan as well. He said something similar about 7 or 8 months ago to Joe Rogan. It's also pretty interesting. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think the state of Texas made a bad decision with this. I do not with this guy. I don't think they made a bad decision whatsoever. And certainly in a very religious state like Texas, this resonates a hell of a lot more than what Jasmine Crockett is saying down there, being anti-Trump. I really believe that. Nevertheless, we'll go ahead and start the show. This is Friday Night Politics, and I just wanted to run that one by you. We can talk about it if you will, but I just really wanted you to hear that because I think a lot of folks have not heard him give such what I think was a really, really good speech. I thought that was a really good speech. In fact, he should have gave that speech. That should have been part of his television ads. I don't know what he ran down there, but that should have been part of his television ads. Anyway, looking in the comments, keep that same energy after the midterms when Israel gets their paws on him. Well, he's a senator. Well, he could. I suppose that could happen. We'll see. The problem is whether Israel gets their paws on him or not. If he does not bow down to Israel, he's going to get attacked by a lot of voters in this country, left and right. There's a lot of voters left and right that believe all of our politicians should be pro-Israel, no matter what Israel does. A lot of folks believe that. Simply put, kind of like what the African American community, anything you say to criticize the African Americans if you're white, a lot of folks would just say you're a racist. Anything you say negative about the Israelis, you're going to be called an anti Semite. Even if it's legitimate criticism, you're going to be called an anti Semite. So it is what it is, but we'll see how that goes. So, looking in the comments right off the bat, this is indeed Friday Night Politics. In addition to having an open forum, I do want to ask a question, and I do got a quick clip for this one, nowhere near as long as the last one. But I want to talk to you folks about why do so many people have an adverse opinion of President Trump? Why do so many people hate President Trump? We're going to talk about that. And before we do, quick video, a lot quicker than the last one. This is not going to go anywhere near as long as the last video because I know you guys are ready to get the show going, and frankly, so am I. But I do want to run a clip to you by Bill O'Reilly. I don't even think this is not even a minute long, so this is much shorter, and then we'll start taking calls, get the show going, etc., etc. But I want you to hear, to some degree, what is missing versus what you're listening to.
So there are two reasons for the hatred, two primary reasons. Number one, Donald Trump totally rejects liberal policies and woke. There isn't one I can find that he supports. He didn't used to be that way. He was a registered Democrat in New York City. But now there's nothing on the left that he likes. And two is his demeanor. He's in your face. He does not speak precisely. He exaggerates, he brags, and he is putting on a show many times in the public arena. Those of us who know him discount that. I do. I mean, his tweets and all this, I don't take them seriously. All right? What I take seriously is what he tells me and what I can see in the policy realm.
Now, I just want to point out, I wanted to just play this quick clip because I think it's more or less what you don't hear. Now, you heard him say his tweets, he doesn't take them seriously. He only pays attention to the politics. That makes perfect sense for Bill O'Reilly. His tweets are not aimed at you. You will hear this often from folks on the right. Pay attention to I like Trump's policies. Pay attention to what he does, not what he says. I don't mind the tweets. They're just jokes. They're jokes that are not at the butt of you. Folks who say this, they don't mind all this. Yeah, because the stuff is not aimed at you. And I've brought this up many times before that if you had Biden, Obama, I don't know, Kamala Harris or some other liberal constantly making jokes that were negative about Christians and gun owners, you would quickly see how much the right does care about satire. The stuff Trump is saying is not aimed at you on the right. That's why, of course, you don't mind. It's not meant to use you as the victim of the jokes. So yeah, that makes sense that he's not concerned with it. I wouldn't be either if you were talking about somebody else. So I don't think he gets that. But anyway, looking in the comments, and we're gonna just simply ask that question. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything, which I actually did. Real quick. This is some dude on YouTube. I don't want to talk about the dude, but he's posting something Trump said on Brian Kilmeade of Fox today about when the Iran war will end. Brian Kilmeade had a 30-minute interview with President Trump, asked him when will the war in Iran end.
You're going to know when it's over.
When I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it in my bones.
Will you ask anybody in particular? Would that be somebody a joint decision?
Well, I deal with people. I have great people.
When you feel...
He actually told Brian Kilmeade he'll know the war is over when he feels it in his bones. What the hell does that mean? I do want to hear that from you folks. What the hell does that mean? So you guys know how the show is run. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. I don't know what you feel it in your bones. Kind of shit is that? You might just have you may be stage 1 bone cancer. All of a sudden you're ending the war. What does that mean? You guys know how the show is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Our comments go left of Mom Donnie to I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly, which you often see happen. Nevertheless, free speech reigns supreme here. We are MAGA friendly. Been MAGA friendly since day one. Always will be MAGA friendly. You guys know how the program works. So, looking in the comments straight off the bat, debating the reason behind the dislike of Donald Trump. Share your opinion. We will be doing that. See, that's AI. AI typed that. Wow. Our country is the greatest because we are allowed to say whatever we believe. You can't say I can say anything, but no one can say anything about me because that's hypocritical nonsense. Um, at Robert 6428, you says our country is the greatest because we are allowed to say anything, whatever. No, that's not true. If whatever reason makes America the greatest country on earth, that ain't it because you can do that in a whole lot of countries. I lived in Australia for 5 years. I've been back and forth to New Zealand. You can. There's nothing in New Zealand or Australia you can't say, but you can here. You can say plenty of shit. There's a whole lot of countries that allow you freedom of speech. So that's not something I don't know. Listen, folks often compare us to North Korea or China when they're making a statement like that, but most of the free world, you're allowed to criticize the government. That's not something unique to America. You're allowed to do that in many other places. Let me go straight to the box. Why do they dislike this man so much? James Harper, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Why do they dislike in fact, hate? Why do they hate the president so much?
Because one, he's a known liar. Two, he's in it for himself. Like he will let the country burn as long as he's making money, and we're seeing that evident right now.
What do you base? You say he'll let the country burn as long as. What are you basing that on? What's your evidence of that?
Look at what's going on right now. Like all these issues that we're having are directly correlated to what he's been doing.
I don't see the country burning to the ground. In fact, some would suggest that under Biden and under other administrations, we had BLM and things like that said actually causing real fires. What is burning now? What make you say that? I don't see what's burning right now under Trump.
Our GDP is burning. Like people, and right now, credit card delinquencies are their highest because people can't pay their bills. Like our unemployment is skyrocketing. Like let's see what else. How many people have lost their jobs so far?
No, have they lost their jobs due to the policies of Trump or President Trump simply suggesting that waste, fraud, abuse, DEI, some of these jobs were deliberately cut because President Trump, via Elon Musk or Doge, thought that these jobs were just an unnecessary burden on the federal government.
It's not just that. Things like the tariffs, they made a lot of these companies lose ground, and then them cutting funds to like things like researchers and stuff like that have lasting effects. Like places like EPA, the NIH, and places like that. Those places they lose funding, and they actually the budgets that they had went to doing other things.
Yeah, but what if the tariffs may have cost some jobs, but if the tariffs bring in billions of dollars like the Trump administration suggests, is that not a healthy trade-off?
Tim, come on now. It didn't bring in billions of dollars. It was billions of dollars of taxes on Americans.
Well, it's actually the ball is still in play, James. We don't know for certain. I mean, the tariffs were just imposed last April, so it hasn't even been a year yet.
You're saying that, but we're seeing the effects now. Usually policy lasts. It usually takes, years for a policy to take effect? These things are having immediate action right now.
Well, when you look at the fact that he imposed literally the entire planet, I mean, the cost of groceries have not come down since President Biden, but have they really went up? I mean, considering that you believe since Trump has became president, the price of groceries has went up?
Yes, in fact, beef damn near doubled.
Some products. But some products like eggs went down.
The reason why the product of eggs went down, because remember, we had that bird flu not too long ago, which decreased the population. Like over time, that population recovered from it.
Yeah, but what about stuff like milk? I mean, bird flu didn't affect the price of milk, did it?
Milk has gone up.
I don't. When I went to the grocery store the other day, I don't. Go ahead. What you say?
It's not just that. Remember, like a lot of stuff that we like import, like fruits and vegetables and things like that. Those have gone up too because we're not getting them. The quality has gone down because the trade issues we've been having with places like Mexico.
Well, I would just say this: if the tariffs he imposed brings in the kind of revenue he's talking about, the increase in
But
groceries.
Tim, who pays those? Who pays?
That's what I'm about to answer. The increase in what you're suggesting that groceries have saw is, I don't think it's significant enough to offset if he truly is bringing in, billions of dollars. I think that if you, I mean,
But where are those billions of dollars going, Tim?
that's a good question. We don't know that part.
Exactly. So you can't say, "Oh, it's bringing in this money," if we're not seeing where this money is going to. And then, not to mention, like you can't say, "Oh, we got all this revenue going in," when we got heads of departments spending money like they're celebrities.
How about this? You asked where the money's going. Buckeye 404 in the comments says lobster tails. You heard they spent millions on lobster tails. Perhaps the money is going to purchase lobster tails for our men and women in uniform.
That's not where it's going, Timmy. You know that.
I just saw it in the comments. I thought it was worthy of discussing.
The fact that they're like making these jokes, you got to remember, we got head of Department of Defense that he's been known to he drove two charities to the ground, two different charities for veterans to the ground by doing the same crap he's doing now, spending money on bullshit.
It's interesting you would say that because a lot of veterans still love the Trump administration, certainly more than they would have preferred Kamala Harris.
Nah, I don't think that's definitely not the case.
I don't recall a lot of veterans for Biden. I don't recall a lot of veterans for Biden groups. Say that again.
Like it's a mixed bit, but there are some groups that say veterans for Biden, but there are a lot of groups that say veterans against Trump.
I mean, listen. Right now, we certainly are involved in a conflict, an excursion, a war, or whatever you want to call it, so to speak. But okay, so when the question was presented, why do you hate Trump? What is your answer? What are you saying is the reason why so many people dislike this guy?
One, he's not honest. Two, he's basically embezzling from the country.
I'm told not only does the man have his own money, he's not taking a salary. What do you mean by embezzling? How is he embezzling from the nation?
What do you think it costs every time he goes down to Mar-a-Lago just for like his for the Secret Service and his administrative people to go down there? That's millions every time.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to deny it costs.
He spends more time in Mar-a-Lago than he does in the White House.
I mean, I'm not going to deny it costs money, but keep in mind, you had everybody from Bush going to Kennebunkport. You had Obama going to Hawaii, which I guess would have cost quite a bit. I mean, Biden would go back home to Delaware. I mean, Biden lived close.
Don't try to fluff, because you know as well as I do that Trump spends more time away on vacation than both of them combined. And that's 12 years between the two of them.
I gotta push back. I gotta disagree with you because when Trump is at Mar-a-Lago, he takes press conferences. He's on. I mean, even when he's playing golf, he don't mind letting reporters ask him questions. So when Biden would go to Delaware, you didn't hear from the guy. You know, even when Obama was in Hawaii, you didn't hear from the guy.
How far is it from D.C. to Delaware?
Yeah, I admitted that. Yeah, Biden didn't spend a lot of money doing that, but you didn't hear from him.
Not to mention, Tim, when he's down there for what? Weeks at a time, just down there, and then he has foreign delegates come down there too. And who pays for that? It's not the delegates.
But what I'm saying, and thank you for that alter ego. Appreciate the hat and mustache. You guys certainly help your boy out with the hat and mustache goal. Thank you very much. But what I'm saying is, when President Trump is at Mar-a-Lago, you don't go long periods of time without hearing from the guy, whether he's on social media, running the country and firing people, or he's even in front of the cameras. When Obama was at Hawaii, you didn't hear from him. Same thing when Biden went to Delaware. I get it didn't cost much, but when he was in Delaware, you didn't hear from the guy. You hear from President Trump. So that means he's working even in Mar-a-Lago.
Hold on, Tim. rambling and actually doing presidential business are two different things. You hear Trump ramble all the time. You didn't hear Biden ramble as much. You damn sure didn't hear Obama doing as much rambling.
Well,
All you hear from Trump is him sitting on his phone complaining about every goddamn thing, not him actually doing shit.
well, I don't know, because generally when Trump complains about something, policy or some kind of effect is going to take place. If he's complaining about you're ripping off the country or you're a fraud to the taxpayers, chances are something is going to be done from the Trump administration about that.
Hold on, he cannot talk about being a fraud to the taxpayers when that whole fraud, waste, and abuse. If that was the case, how come Doge never targeted any of these departments that his people are running? It's all he targeted was oversight and trying to get contracts from other people.
Yeah, we don't listen. I'm not here to sing the praises of Doge. We won't know the full scope of Doge probably until the end of his administration, maybe even after. So I can't.
We're already seeing the effect of Doge because since Doge has come around, we've started to see like a rise in monopolies. Because before Doge, all these mergers would not have happened.
Well, but a merger, you don't see the possibility of that producing jobs, producing opportunities. I mean, is it all negative?
Okay, I'm glad you just said that because Block, that company is Square Pay, Cash App, and a couple other apps. They just laid off 4,000 people because they did a merger. And they said all these jobs were redundant.
Yeah, but I mean, are you blaming that on Trump though?
What I'm saying is they cut out the oversight that would have blocked that kind of merger from happening because of the fact that it would have become a monopoly.
Well, here's the thing, though. I guess I would throw out there. Mergers happen under all presidents. I mean, that's not something unique to President Trump. Mergers happen under every president.
Mergers happen under every president. But the thing that you're not realizing is those mergers have to follow certain guidelines by the SEC, the FCC, and those kind of oversight committees. Departments. But all of those places have had severe cuts to their personnel that they can't even monitor all that stuff anymore.
Well,
not to mention their enforcement ability is being cut dramatically.
Yeah, but what about all of the benefits that might offset what you're discussing in terms of getting all of the illegal immigrants in this country that were taking potential jobs that Americans could have? Now all of those, but all of them, not to mention some of the crime and some of the other aspects of it, now that that's been curtailed by the Trump administration, do you give them credit for that?
You mean when he attacked, let's see, you said all the illegals that he got out. What were those jobs that all those illegals were doing that Americans couldn't do?
Carpentry. Carpentry, roofing, gardening, lawn care. Those are jobs Americans can do, and those jobs pay fairly well.
No, because most of those jobs paid really low, and Americans didn't want to do those jobs.
You think roofers don't make much money?
No, roofers do, but like you said, lawn care. You said
if you're really good at lawn care and you're doing the right home, if you're really good at lawn care and you're doing the right home, you can make a good living at that.
If you own the business, yes, you can make a good living. The workers, you have to do a shit ton of overtime just to make ends meet.
Well, shit. I mean, what are the jobs that, let's say, minorities like African Americans doing it? Most of the jobs they're doing anyway, you got to work a shit ton of overtime to make ends meet. I mean, that's kind of what it's like anyway.
And then not only that, because of this administration right now, look at AI. AI has basically destroyed the entry level positions.
Well, the problem with AI is you can't really blame that on anybody other than evolution. Now, AI will likely create some other opportunities in the future. We just don't know. But you can't put that on any administration. That's just technical evolution. That was going to happen.
And then, like they're saying in the comments, all those jobs that those people are the illegals got taken out of, who's doing those jobs now? Because it's definitely not the food pickers on the farms and things like that. You don't see people in fact, since Trump's been off, it's like farming bankruptcies has been on the rise.
Yeah, but I will say this. It's kind of disingenuous to indicate that illegal immigrants only did farming and picking crops. Like I mentioned, roofing, construction, carpentry. They also did jobs like that too that pays decent wages. They're not all out there picking fruit out of trees.
Right, but are you thinking Americans are going to go into those jobs getting the same wage that those people are getting?
Well, that depends. I can't speak on that. That depends. I mean, but there are plenty of Hispanics that live in America that have been doing some of those jobs that make a pretty good living. They're not all living tent to a house.
I'm not saying that they all live in tent to a house, but you gotta also admit, like the way that Trump went about that was completely fucked the hell up.
Well, Trump can be controversial at times, to say the least. He can be a bit controversial.
Controversial. He said we're going after the worst of the worst, and I think the amount of actual criminals that he actually got through this occupation is not even 10% of the people that he got rid of.
Well, some would suggest that simply being here illegally makes you a criminal to begin with. But I get your point is that he suggested they were all going to be violent criminals. We won't know the actual numbers of that probably until the future because, listen, Trump's going to release numbers and you can take them as you may, but we won't know.
He's going to release the numbers, and you know for a fact those numbers are going to be a lie.
Yeah.
Just like when he tried to shoot the messenger for the jobs market and the GDP, he made sure one of his people was the messenger because he doesn't want people to see like shit is going bad.
No, but let me ask you something. In regards to America, that we just left from the Biden administration to now. Do you really see in America currently shit, quote unquote, going bad? Does it really feel that way? I mean, when you look at the Biden economy and the way you look at the condition of America under the previous administration, does it really feel like it's going that bad under Trump?
Didn't the value of the dollar decrease since Trump been in office?
Yeah, but what I mean is,
and I'm not talking about like the stuff that we can buy in the stores. I'm talking about the value of the dollar as a trading commodity.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. When I say does it feel that way, I'm talking about for the average American. Is the quality of your life significantly worse since Trump left office?
Yes.
How? In what way?
Like I said, quality jobs have disappeared. Prices, like the cost of living has gone up. Unemployment is going back up towards like damn near COVID numbers. Like these type of things, and it's not like a global crisis happened that made these things happen. No, it's through direct actions of Trump. And one of the things is, remember how you always like to tout that, the gas price has gone down? Due to his direct action.
Yeah, I get that. But
that price has gone up. You can't just say, well, he gets credit because he's the problem. No, his direct line of thinking was, I'm going to attack these people and it's going to benefit us. And the second he did that, cost of gas has gone up, not just for us, but around the planet.
Yeah. But what about the whole short-term pain for long-term gain? Let's say, for instance, he gets Iran under control. And thank you there, Love the Cruise. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Let's say, for instance, he gets things under control and we start receiving really, really inexpensive fuel because once we got control of both Venezuela and Iran, fuel costs could drop significantly. I mean,
okay, you're saying once he gets that under control, when do you think he's going to get that under control? When he has no plan right now on how he's doing things. He said they should like let him choose the leader. And what's the first thing they did? He actually unified them under the Ayatollah son to get revenge.
And let me just say this real quick before we continue on. I always have the big screen on behind. News Nation has a ticker on it, and it says breaking news. Thousands of Marines heading to the Mideast. So, boots on the ground, anyone? Thousands of Marines heading to Mideast. So, we're not going to send that unless they're going to be used.
According to MAGA, we're not at war. But we're about to send troops into a damn country.
I can't argue, but that's exactly what it says. Thousands of Marines are headed to the Mideast. They're not going to send that many people over there just to talk shit.
Did you see more people died? More soldiers died? And in fact,
yeah.
Not just our soldiers, but now French soldiers are getting involved. France had nothing to do with this war. Why is one of their people dying now?
Well, you're talking about the ones that went down in the aircraft, the 6 and the AC-135?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those numbers are about, once we put the Marines on the ground over there, you're going to be getting 5 and 6 people probably dying the first few weeks every day. So long with this, only 7 or 8 people died. That's going to change drastically because we were getting a lot of numbers coming out of Iraq, and Iran is much bigger and powerful and more powerful than Iraq was when we went over there. So I expect those numbers to change immediately the minute we put boots on the ground.
Not to mention that, didn't you hear about that oil tanker crashing and those soldiers had to get air rescue to get up out of there? So if this war is going so good, what is going on? Why is all this stuff happening?
Well, from the air, James, it is going good from the air. We got complete control over their airspace. I mean, listen, every death among our men and women in uniform is one too many, but fact is, you're talking about less than a dozen people lost their lives after 2 weeks of conflict.
The second we put boots on the ground, that number's going to skyrocket.
Yeah, it's going to get. Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, I don't doubt that, but according to President Trump, it will be for the greater good. So we do have to.
Okay, the same guy that told us that COVID was just going to magically disappear by the springtime when it first started, and all you had to do was get some UV under your skin to magically get the COVID up out of you.
James, it's about time I let you go. This is Devil's Advocate Friday. I got to move on, James. I can't answer that. I can't say nothing about that. But thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, Tom.
Good talk. By the way, tap the screen. Get us on up to 45K. Certainly help your boy out if you're watching on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. Help your boy out with the hat and TikTok cap go. This is indeed Devil's Advocate Friday. In addition to what we're discussing here, which is why do so many people dislike and hate President Trump? Michael DeBoss says lots of information today. Well, we're going to see that Jasmine Crockett lost all her voters. We're reading. You said, Jason, you said Jasmine Crockett lost all her voters. We're reading the Epstein files. I don't understand what you're trying to say there. But after playing that clip of Tallarico, I think that, listen, I know I'm going to take some flack for saying this, particularly because she's black and I'm black, but I actually think the Texans made a good choice with Tallarico. I think they picked the right one over Jasmine Crockett. I mean, not only because of where he's running, but I think based on what he was saying. I actually think that they probably picked the right choice with Tallarico. Just from the unifying standpoint in a state like Texas, if this was happening in Michigan or Illinois or some deep blue state, my mindset might be different. But in Texas, I really think they picked the right choice with Tallarico. Looking in the comments, Epstein is living in Israel. Oh my God. So Epstein is still alive, huh, Raymond Yoakum, and he's living in Epstein. Okay. And I see Bruce says she lost to a great candidate. Yeah, I want to tell you right off the bat, if Tallarico was the only Democrat running in Texas versus whoever they put up on the right, the Democrat Party would absolutely be saying that Tallarico's a great candidate, just like you're saying there, Bruce. It's just that some folks favor, they favor Jasmine Crockett because of she launches pretty good attacks against President Trump. She's launched really good attacks against Marjorie Taylor Greene, so I understand it. But in terms of the ability to win, I think Tallarico's a better choice. That's just my opinion. In Texas, like I said, if this was a deep blue state, Crockett might be a different story. But in Texas, Tallarico's a better choice. Looking in the comments here, Trump is on borrowed time, brother, says Chris. Shit, aren't we all? Aren't we all? I mean, look, the man is almost 80 years old. He's not going to be around forever. I get that, but it is what I mean. There is a chance he could certainly live out his term. He only has 2.5 more years to go, so there's absolutely a chance that could happen. So, looking in the comments, we'll continue on with Handsome Conservative. Good evening. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the lights on up to 50,000, or better yet, 50, Fiddy. Handsome conservative, good evening.
Oh, I can't imagine why anybody doesn't like Trump, dude. I mean, he's a wonderful guy. Some say he's the greatest president we've ever had.
I get him all the time. Now, you voted for the man the first time, no? You did vote. You said you didn't vote for him the second 2 times. You voted for him once.
I voted for him the first time, and I think the first time he did a great job.
Okay.
Some say he did the best job ever.
I get the direction of the rhetoric. So why do people dislike him?
Democrats. I mean, look. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about it. Okay, he's a Republican president. The Democrats don't like him. If we had a Democratic president, the Republicans wouldn't like him. You know, that's what it is. They can come up with a list of excuses and reasons, and they might be right on some of them. But Democrats don't like Republican presidents. I mean, it went back.
So it's just politics. So in other words, it's just politics.
Well, it probably doesn't help that he was a Democrat for the longest time, and then he went Republican. At least that's what I heard. You know, I don't know if that's true, but I believe if you go far enough back, he was a Democrat or a registered Democrat at one time. So, again, he's a Republican, and he switched parties to become a Republican. You know, that's a double whammy.
Well, he is on video saying, I identify as a Democrat back in the 80s. And real quick in the comments before we continue on, Skeeter808 says, let's get Melania to escort the ships through the Strait of Hormuz. After all, she was an escort for years. What the hell? So, oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know what the problem is with Melania, man. I wish if I had that kind of money, I could rake in a woman like that.
You could.
I mean, damn.
You absolutely could.
Damn.
Because that's the only reason Trump has her is because of money. You could break in a kind of woman like that.
If I could afford that kind of love, I mean, you know.
You could afford that type of love. Just go take a trip to Cambodia or Thailand somewhere. You can get somebody that probably look better than that and certainly significantly younger.
There's a thought.
Yeah,
Passport bro, huh? I got you. That sounds good. What I'm interested in talking to you about is that first clip you played with that
Tallarico.
That so-called pastor.
Why is he so-called?
Well, because he's contradicting himself.
In what way?
Well, he starts off the conversation, and you may have to replay it. I may get this wrong, but he starts off the conversation as we got to get rid of, how did he call it, national Christianity, or how did he put it, Christianity? But
well, he's saying that Christian nationalist is a stain on the religion.
That's it, Christian nationalism. I was with him. I was like, yeah, politics and Jesus got nothing to do with each other. Never have. Let's get rid of that. 100% agree.
Where did he lose you?
But then he lost me when he started becoming a progressive pastor, because that's identity politics.
Well,
politics.
But how do you?
He's putting his politics into being a pastor.
But how do you respond? Wait.
Don't belong in there.
Well, but listen. How do you respond to him saying that abortion and gay and LGBT stuff is not even it's not even in the Bible? He talks about abortion is not even in there, and people are using religion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that he's pointing out, just like he talks about in the Bible, it doesn't talk about abortion or gays, but it does talk constantly about forgiving debt. And he's saying that the party is on the right is constantly talking about gays and abortion, but they're totally against forgiving debt.
Yeah, but when they're in power, they're also against forgiving debt. When they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they didn't say let's wipe everybody's credit card debt. Well, they didn't say let's give everybody a free home.
That's actually not. Wait a minute. That's not totally true, because Biden did forgive student loans, and the right undid it.
Okay, so that helped out a
lot
of the people that could afford college. But what I'm talking about is it helped out a percentage of the people. It didn't help out all of the people. And if you want to talk about Jesus always was saying the same thing over and over, and he was always trying to help all of the people.
Well, but wait a minute. You listen, as a politician, you can't do it by yourself. If the Democrats were able to forgive student loans, if they were able to give people universal health care, I mean, they've talked about everything from minimum wage increase. I mean, this stuff would collectively help out a large portion of this country. You're never going to help out 100% of the people, because people are benefiting by not giving you student loans, by not giving you a minimum wage increase. So them folks. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I apologize.
No, I'm simply saying nothing you do for the poor is going to be favorable to the wealthy. They don't, because they got to help out making it happen. So people who have plenty of money don't want student loans forgiven, don't want kids to have free lunch in schools like Charlie Kirk said, because they don't want their tax money to go to it. But for the most part, a much larger portion of the population would benefit from making, college covered by the taxpayers, or making universal health care. Most of the population would benefit from that.
Well, here's my thing, and we can get into the politics of it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But my point really was that if you're going to get rid of the Christian nationalist agenda, okay, let's say that, because that's mixed in with politics.
And before, hang on, I just want to interrupt you. I want to interrupt you real quick, because the ticker on News Nation is saying right now Trump is being interviewed, and he is saying we have to end the nuclear threat. So apparently that's the reason he's giving for sending the Marines, and obviously about to put boots on the ground. So, and he's saying that tanker escorts are about to happen soon. So this is about to step up. But go ahead and continue.
All right, I'll finish this up, and then I'll talk to you about what you just said. But long story short, he's putting his politics with his religion into it, and so are the Republicans. Jesus isn't a Republican or Democrat, no matter how much either side wants to pretend he is.
No, Jesus is not a. No, he's not a Republican or a Democrat. Jesus would be a socialist. He would not be a Republican or a Democrat. He would be a socialist.
Well, remember, Jesus did say to that one guy, give up all of your belongings and follow me.
Well, I look at the Last Supper, and that is 100% socialism. He didn't ask anybody to help pay for the bread. That's socialism.
Yeah, but he had his father to help.
I'm just saying, that's socialism. That's what you guys don't like. Well, your side would have demanded that everybody receiving bread pays for that. And you would have allowed Jesus to charge whatever he wanted per slice.
Not my side. I'm a conservative.
Your side you don't want big business and capitalism regulated. You want the free market to decide. So he would have been allowed to charge whatever he wanted without any interference. And you would have suggested that none of them people should ever expect to get bread for free.
Either way, I'm just saying, all I'm trying to get across is that if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Let's keep politics out of church. Let's make church about what the Bible says and not about what the politician says. And as far as Trump goes, I told you, boots on the ground. I said it was going to happen. Yeah. We got the troops coming. I pray to God that I and you are both wrong. But I told you, Trump's not going to let this go. And there is no nuclear missiles over there. I think somebody said they were considering sending Iran a nuclear missile, but they don't have them right now. I think all they have is like nuclear power plants or something like that to keep their power going, like most countries do. Yeah, but that's not the same grade. That's not the same grade as to make a nuclear missile. Yeah, that's completely two different things.
Yeah, that country has a population of 90 million, so they're about 1/4 the size of America in terms of population. They gonna kill some motherfuckers. They may lose, but we're gonna lose a lot of people going into that country.
I'm going to tell you this. I told you the last time we talked to look up the geographical location and to look at the mountains. Where we're going to lose people is them trying to get over those mountains, because they're going to shoot them down if they try to drop them from planes. So we got to find another way over. And I'm telling you, if it happens, we're going to lose innocent military men and women.
Well, are they really? Are they innocent? And for the great, appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you. Are they really innocent? I mean, they signed up for this, right?
They signed up to serve the country, but this is not technically a war, right? Isn't that what the House and the Senate said?
Yeah, that's, you know, that is so.
By what the House and the Senate said, I know it's a war, but I'm saying that's not what the House and Senate said. So which are we going to go by? They served to uphold the Constitution. This is not a war, so why should they give up their lives? That's what I'm talking about.
But why is he able to? Okay, we don't had a complete air conflict, not to mention what we did in Venezuela. So he don't send. I mean, we using all of our highest tech to bomb the shit out of Iran at the cost of billions of dollars weekly. And now we're about to send thousands of troops over there, and he has not had to even go to Congress and say, "Can I actually do this?" Why are they just letting him do all of this?
Because he's got the votes. I mean, Republicans are in power. Like, what did Miss Holder say?
But if he got the votes, why not just go and get them from him? He's not even asking them. Could you actually vote and make this official?
He could. Personally, I think he should. But here's the thing. Like Miss Mulberta said, he's only got, like, what is it, one Republican now that is giving them the majority or something like that. All you need is the one. So if he's got the votes, go ahead and do the votes. I mean, if he can do that, do it and make it a legal war. But it's not a legal war right now, and I have no explanation for that. I don't know why.
Is it unique to Trump though? Doomsday Minute in the comments is saying that he's saying that Trump watched Obama and Bush do something similar. I don't recall Bush or Obama doing anything like this. What is he talking about?
I hesitate to speak for somebody else, but I think he might mean the damn it, what was it? The Saddam War. I mean, because that wasn't technically a war, right? We didn't declare war on Iraq.
I don't know I don't know of any conflict that grew this big. I mean, where you use like 10% of the U.S. Navy.
I'm guessing. You'd have to ask him.
Yeah, I'd have to ask him.
All I wanted to say, man, and I know you got to let me go, is that politics should stay out of religion on either side. That it makes religion look bad when I don't care which side does it. And two, dude, we're going to lose a lot of troops because you can't beat Iran with the missiles and the planes. We've watched this happen. They've shot missiles, they've had planes, and they're still having to send troops over. So if, the only way to do this that I can see is to send a bunch of troops over and hope for the best. I don't think it's going to work.
I think after the easy ass kicking in Venezuela, my opinion, folks are going to disagree with this, but my opinion is a lot of folks, including the president himself, are pumped. Ego. It was so easy in Venezuela. And we've had not a lot of difficulty bombing Iran from the air. So I'm thinking that a lot of folks in the Trump administration, particularly Trump himself, think it'll be a cakewalk. I got folks even in the comments. We're not going to lose a lot of lives. I think that once the bodies start coming home, the whole sentiment towards this will change. But I believe, at least on the MAGA side of the aisle, is that they're expecting this to be a cakewalk. We're about to go. It kind of reminds me of an old movie with Schwarzenegger called Commando, where I'm going to go over here and kick some ass in the mall, and all of a sudden Schwarzenegger starts fighting back, and he's beating all these mall guards up. That's what it sounds like. We just think we're going to go over to Iran and kick some ass. And once the bodies start coming back home, sentiment's going to change.
Let me end with this, because I know you got a lot of people to bring up. For the people in the comments that are saying we're not going to lose a lot of troops, I really hope you guys are right, and I really, really hope I'm wrong. I 100% hope that we don't lose a lot of troops, but I know the layout of Iran. I've looked it up. I've seen the layout of Iran, and there's a lot of shit that they're going to have to get over. And they've had a long time to prepare for being invaded. So I really hope for the best. I don't want to lose more soldiers unnecessarily, and I'm sure their families don't want to lose their fathers and their mothers and shit like that. So I'm gonna let it go at that and hope for the best. Support your local liberal.
Thank you, and I'm a little bit short on supply on that. Thank you for pumping that up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, handsome conservative. By the way, he is right. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap. Hat mustache go. In the comments, Evil B by Boo says Trump ain't. He says Trump ain't MAGA rat shit. Happy Friday, Tim. Do you know that Trump was getting high today? What? They have a picture of him on YouTube. I don't believe that. What do you mean Trump was getting high? What was the product of choice that he was ingesting? Trump was getting high. Has anybody heard anything like that? Evil people, I haven't heard that. Getting high on what? High on life? All the people who's saying we won't lose a lot of troops never served one day in the military. Derek, I can't totally agree with that, but I'm more likely to agree than disagree. More likely to agree than disagree. Buckeye 404 says blackest president in history. I vehemently disagree with that. You're going to have a hard time finding anybody black that speaks so favorably of Charlie Kirk like Trump does. I don't buy. Josh Vet says, lost another 6 yesterday. Yeah, the 2 AC-130s. One of them survived the crash. They hit each other in midair. AC-130s. There's AC-135s. AC-135s. Refueling aircraft. When I heard that an AC-135 had went down, and they were still kind of, I guess, looking for, trying to rescue, I'm like, that's a fucking refueling aircraft. You ain't surviving a gas tank hitting the ground with you in it. Like when that hit the ground, you ain't surviving a plane crash, period. But yeah, KC-135, yeah, you're not surviving an air crash most of the time anyway. But if you're on a refueling tanker, like that's gonna be a nasty, nasty crash. I mean, nasty explosion. Yeah, I knew right off the bat, you probably ain't gonna find nobody alive in that shit. That's just, if you've seen the United Parcel Service, there's plenty of footage of that on YouTube. There was a I think a DC-9 or something like that, the 3-engine aircraft that FedEx and United Parcel Service used. There was one of those that just took place in Louisville, Kentucky a month or two ago. And it was on its way from Louisville to Hawaii to drop off packages. So it was really full of fuel. And when it went down, fire everywhere. And so you can only imagine what a tanker has on it. So I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody surviving that. There's probably not much remains to even find. But looking in the comments here real quick, what about all the civilian contractors killed? Well, the civilian contractors are not going to get much fanfare because our civilian contractors are almost like mercenaries. You get paid a lot of money to go operate in dangerous environments. And you're often told, from what I hear, that if something happened, we're not going to really do a lot to come looking for you. There's a reason why they pay you, $150,000 a year to go do something simple, because you're in a dangerous area. And if you don't come back, you don't come back. And I'll tell you before I go to the next caller, my dad, who used to be a lineman, may he rest in peace, for Illinois Bell, the phone company. So he climbed on the poles and whatever the case may be. And he was telling me that years ago, when he came back from Vietnam, that he got offered a job like that, to be a lineman, and they told him that, the pay, I forgot what the numbers were, but we were talking late 70s, early 80s. The pay was really good, but he did say that people might be shooting at you on the phone poles, And the amount of rescue services to get you back is very limited. It's not what we do to get military personnel and things like that back. There's a reason they pay you a whole lot of money because, yeah, you may not make it back. But anyway, going back to the box, tap the screen, help your boy out with the TikTok cap goal. We'll make that happen momentarily. And we'll go to, I think it says Doomsday. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Why would you sell your soul for a salary? No thanks. It's kind of what we all do to some degree, is it not? You don't spend as much time as you could with your family. I mean, shit, we all kind of do that anyway. Doomsday, good evening.
What's up there?
Not much at all. Saw you in the comments. What am I getting wrong?
Everything that comes out of your mouth.
Oh, no.
I mean, seriously, Tim. I mean, look. You are not for this, doing this anyway.
Are you?
So whether there's boots on the ground, what you want us not to intervene with Iran, no matter what.
Are you for boots on the ground?
Yes, that's the only way you're going to find those that material. That's the only way you're going to get rid of the regime. So yes, we always knew that that's the way that this was going to go. I don't have a problem with it. If I was 10 years, not even 10, I would go tomorrow. I would definitely help out with that.
And in the comments, folks, yes, this is Straight Talk Commerce.
Straight Talk.
This is Straight Talk. So,
yeah. My Straight Talk account won't be available to me until 1850 this evening. So
they got your ass.
Thank you all for your harassment.
They got your ass. So let me ask you then. Let's say we take in. I'm gonna be. I think what I'm doing is being conservative here. What if we have 50 underground casualties? Is it worth it?
Yes.
100.
If we have 100, we lose 300 service members a year in training accidents alone through the branches. 400 if you count all branches, including Coast Guard. So yes, it would be worth it. Are you kidding me? Living under the threat of a nuclear Iran, I don't want that.
Here's what I don't get, Straight Talk. What are we expecting is going to replace this? You think the Iranian people, after we're blowing up schools and shit, what we come on the ground and do? You think that they're not going to go right back to hating us after this is done and trying to do the same shit that he's trying to reset now?
That's why you call the herd. From time to time, you need to call the herd. Yes, of course, there's a certain group of people that have hated you no matter what. You can't do anything for them, and you need to go in and call that herd. And then you put in people that are, outnumber those people.
So
that's what you do.
So we're gonna go and put in an American-friendly administration.
We're not going to put in anyone. We're just going to call the herd until the people that are there that are friendly to us can take their country back.
And we're willing to.
If there's not enough of you to be mad at me and be worried about it, then we're all good.
Here's what I don't understand, Straight Talk. We're willing to do this. But we were not willing to let some immigrants come in the country and claim asylum. Nobody had to die for that. You're so eager to help the Iranians out.
Listen to me. I don't want you. Whoa. I will go to your house and help you clean up your mess. I don't want you moving in with me. Fuck that.
You're not helping them.
I will go to your house and help you get it straightened up. But what I will not do is put you in here next to my family. No, we're not allowing Iran, this little pissant country, Iran, to shuffle everybody into our country so we can be mother hen to them. No.
You're gonna cause the deaths, plural.
I'm not causing any deaths.
Bullshit. We've already lost almost a dozen of them now.
The Iranian regime is who you need to be in a problem with, who you have a problem with. Yes, hold on. Steve Witkoff was on the news this weekend, and he said, first meeting I had with these people, I offered them enough nuclear fuel for the next 10 years for their entire country. The United States would give them enough nuclear fuel to power their country for the next 10 years. What did they say? Double middle finger. We're going for the nuclear bomb. Now, what more do you need to hear?
Well, then I have to ask you, so once we leave, who helps rebuild their country? Do we end up doing what you just said? We give them nuclear technology to power their country?
Japan.
Who bombed the absolute shit out of Japan and helped them rebuild? Who did that for Great Britain? Who did that for Nazi Germany?
We did all of that.
We did.
We did.
Yes, we did.
So we're going to spend
we became the superpower we are by doing that.
I don't get the America First in this shit at all. We're spending a fortune.
What do you mean? Hold on. If there's no America, if Iran has a nuclear weapon, there's no America at all to be first, second, last, whenever. You are a coward, Tim.
Thank
you.
You
are a coward.
I think you're an idiot.
If you don't want to serve, don't serve. Just get behind me.
I think you're an idiot. I think the idea that Iran is going to develop.
Hold on. Protection and my brother's protection. So how big of an idiot can I be?
I think your brother is protecting me from some shit that ain't a danger to me, straight talk.
Okay, guess what? That's why you don't serve. We are saying that there's a danger. You don't have to believe it for it to be true.
You sound just like the folks on the right before we went into Iraq. Same shit. The liberals are not. You were saying the same stuff about it. Cindy Sheehan, she wasn't patriotic. This is the same shit. You sound just like them.
100% true. Guilty. Listen, the minute that someone calls your number and you've got to pick up a rifle in a ruck, you will have an argument. But no one is asking you to put a hand in this. Let the men.
Bullshit. We are putting a hand in it.
Women.
Bullshit. We are putting a hand in it. Not only are we putting a hand in it.
No, you're not putting a hand in it.
Hear me out. First of all, the people that were down in Austin that got killed by that Iranian sympathizer, they're not in the war. Yet you're going to have all.
Thank you for proving my point. Iranian sympathizers want you dead, and you still don't listen.
No, you're not. I think you just told me. You just told me that we're not putting a hand in it. First of all, our tax money is going to this bullshit, and then we may be a victim of terrorist sympathizers.
Again, with this bullshit, no one's asking you to do this. You want me to feed your kids lunch money at school.
No, nobody's asking. You're forcing me. And did somebody send a Galaxy? I think somebody wanted to talk to you. I don't know who it was.
Oh my God, you got to stop this bullshit, dude. I am not here for your retards, dude. I'm not. I want to talk to you.
Straight talk, every fucking body is a retard to you, goddammit. They all are.
That's true. Thank you for that compliment. But by the way, it's now 2 galaxies to talk to me.
No, it's not.
1 galaxy for you, 1 galaxy for me. If motherfuckers want to talk to me, then it's another galaxy.
With the support coming to this program from you motherfuckers, I'm surprised it ain't a half galaxy. I mean, shit. So I gotta get the people what they want. Who the hell did that? But I'm gonna. Okay, well, here it goes. Because I do want to hear what happened to him.
Did he drop?
Yeah, he dropped him in. I saw James said, bring you up. I brought you up, and he dropped.
Bring his ass back up.
Well, if he requests, I'll go ahead and absolutely do that. I think he dropped intentionally. You know, a lot of these conservatives don't like talking to you, Mike. They don't like talking to you, man.
You know why they don't like talking. You know why they don't like talking to me.
You an uppity Negro. Real quick before you respond. Before you respond, Evil Babu says this is choke mouth, stupid mouth covers. Oh my God, how idiotic this person sounds. Yikes. But yeah, he dropped. I can't do nothing. He dropped.
Hey, and if people are reporting, don't report because it hurts the live, and we want to have the conversation. So if you report and don't report, let's just have the conversation.
Everybody don't favor freedom of speech when it's critical of their side.
I know, and it's crazy. And well, first of all, I don't even. This is the funny part, Tim. How do you report?
I don't know
because I have no idea how to report. And trust me, listen. If he said I reported him, just come back up. But I think you said the R word.
Yeah, because I don't block, ban, or censor anybody as the host. You don't ever hear me block. Only time I will do anything is if you spam. That's about it. I don't block, ban, or censor anybody.
Yeah. So I think he did say the R word, but whatever. But hey, listen, I want to start here. Cedric, when you're talking about beef prices, Google is free. Beef prices have been up for years. You don't know what you're talking. You told me to Google. You Google. If you Google, you will see that they are sending 5,000 troops and not 2,500 troops. And guess what, Cedric? I got news for you. I knew that before, and I'm not going to tell you how, but Tim knows.
Yeah, I agree. But then again, even before you showed me solid evidence, I was saying it on the program because Trump's objectives mandate sending troops into the country. I mean, if you want to replace that regime, we have never in American history replaced a regime from the air. Even Maduro in Venezuela, we had to put a few boots on the ground to get his ass out. You're not going to do it from the air. You can bomb them forever. They can hide in mountains. They can hide underground. You're going to have to put people on the ground, house to house, building to building search, and that's when they're going to be getting killed. That's the only way you're going to do. They even found Saddam Hussein in the fucking hole. It takes time to find this guy, and people are dying when you're looking for him.
Yeah, Tim, again, this American, exceptionalism, as if we have a mighty military, but they're acting as if the enemy doesn't know that. They're acting like they don't understand. If you think that the Iranians are stupid and they're not intelligent and they're not strategic, we're the fools.
Yeah. And they also have it's also a whole lot of them. Like I said, that country is 90 million strong. So you're going to put this is not Iraq. This is not Iraq.
It's not. And Doomsday, you're telling me to leave. Just by the way, just because you served doesn't mean that no one else served or no one else had family that served or served me or on their way over there and that are over there.
Yeah, I gotta get some other vets up here after soon and hear their take on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is crazy.
Hey Tim, talk to them. You know that I've been talking. You know that here's the one thing, and I'm saying this for the 349 people. When I speak about this shit, I will vet what I say before I say it. Me and Tim talk at length. Did I or did I confirm my sources at a high level over there?
Facts with photos. Facts.
Yes, so let's move on from that. The U.S. economy growth. Did you see the report that came out today?
No.
So the U.S. economy growth that they reported back in January, they had to go back and redo it. That 1.4% growth they had is 0.7%.
What did I say about if the numbers can be skewed, expect them to be? Before you continue, Evil Babu says also that Tim tells Super Mike happy Friday, referring to you, and I love it when Mike is up here. Mike is the godfather when it comes to something like this. Say hello to my little friend, and also Jake. Appreciate the support. So you certainly got an ally in Evil B by Boo Mike. But go ahead and continue.
Look, I do this I do this to make sure that we're giving out right information and make sure that these motherfuckers like Straight Talks is always chirping about stuff and make sure that we're correcting stuff.
What the hell happened to him? Why did he was up? I mean, did he get?
He's in the comments.
I see him. Doomsday. What the fuck happened? Doomsday Minute. What happened to you?
Gas. If you guys go out to the energy Department of Energy right now and look at the EIA, they have gas and oil not coming down until the end of 2027. Whoa.
Mike, go ahead on, Mike.
Man, I love that. I appreciate that.
Shit.
If you go out to the EIA, they're showing gas and oil pipe prices won't come back below $60 a barrel of oil until the end of 2027 already.
I heard that.
Based on today. Right. So again, Tim, we can't act as if what's happening is not happening. My nephew's on his way over there, by the way, Straight Talks, while you're talking to me. My nephew's on
What branch is he? What branch is your nephew in?
He's in the Navy, and I got others, as you know, in other branches, right? As you know, directly.
I would not want to be in the Marines or the Army right now going to that shit because they're gonna lose some people. I mean, listen, if you're in one of the branches where you got all the technology, being the Navy or the Air Force, and even though the Air Force just lost a few people, but if you got you're out at sea with all the technology that they can't fuck with, you're a little bit safer. But if you got to be walking around in Iran with just a rifle, I mean, you can call in air support, but that's when them motherfuckers are going to get killed. Some of them are going to die.
And listen, I've met other people. I've talked to dozens of people in the last 4 days on this app whose kids have gotten orders to go over there. Even Trump supporters. And guess what? None of them like it. I haven't heard one that is okay with it. Even Trump MAGA supporters. Because you know why it's touching them now. I get it. Hey, you don't have to keep spamming the comments, dude, for you to be important.
Buckeye, are you spamming Buckeye? I'm important on TikTok.
He's talking to me. But hey, oh, by the way, hey, let's talk about the news today. The federal courts shot down the criminal investigation into Jerome Powell.
Yes, I did hear that. And they listen, I'm a fan of that. I don't like. Listen, I mean, there may be people who went after Trump or whatever the case. I don't like when we allow a president to take revenge on the messenger, for instance, like that. I don't like that. I mean, Pam Bondi is just basically acting like she's Trump's attorney. That to me is just wrong every way to look at. I don't like that. Unfortunately, a judge prevented it from continuing, at least in his case.
And he said they had no evidence whatsoever. Yeah. And you know who the judge was? You know do you know where this case went in front of?
No.
Judge Boasberg. Do you remember Judge Boasberg?
The name sounds familiar. What other case was he on?
Kilmar Abrega Garcia.
Oh, no. Well, I'm sure he got beef with Trump then, because the way Trump was talking about judges that don't rule his way. I'm surprised I haven't heard Trump say anything about him yet.
He is putting these attorneys in. They're just doing it. They're just doing it at will for... I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I've said this on the program many times. Mark my words, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is going to be rich. He got a big-ass settlement coming one day. What they did to him, he absolutely got a settlement. He just needs to sue under a liberal administration, and the statute of limitations will not have expired. If he just waits a few years, you get a liberal in there, he got a lot of money coming.
No, quit whining, straight comment. If I can't be treated fairly, file a lawsuit. Hey, you were told by the Trump administration, if you're feeling oppressed as a white man in this country, file a discrimination lawsuit. What the fuck?
He did say that.
If I can't be treated fairly, or how are you not being treated fairly? The rules are the rules. If anybody wants to come up, send a galaxy.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but and by the way, he is right. That's how the program is working. Through I polled this is what you guys want, but if you hear a guest and you think the guest is full of shit or you disagree with the guest, you send a galaxy, I'll put you up with that guest and give you 10 minutes to correct that guest. That's how the program works. So he is right about the galaxy thing, but go ahead.
Look, it's a lot going on over there. Oil is still up. Trump is telling these oil companies, no, it's okay. Send your tankers on through. It's okay.
That was crazy for him to say they should have guts and go through the Strait of Hormuz, and within 24 hours, 3 tankers got shot. Like, you could have got people killed listening to that shit.
Absolutely, and one of them is still listing out there right now. I think it's the tanker from Spain or Italy. It's just still sitting out there, and but again, this is not. If troops are going over there, we're spending money. Listen. There are going to be troops on the ground. I mean, a handsome conservative was right. I told you this a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be troops on the ground. We don't want this. We don't want this. This isn't good for anybody. Now, all of the politics aside, American lives are American lives, and if we say that we actually care about that, the money we're spending over there, we could have used diplomacy like other administrations did, because they've been saying this has been going on for 47, 50 years. They hadn't had one all this.
But what about what Straight Talk said? And by the way, Angel Law Jackson, good evening to you. What about what Straight Talk said? That listen, there's going to be a cost associated with taking out the Iranian regime, et cetera, but in the end, it's worth it. What about what he's saying? I mean, there's got to be plenty of other Americans that feel just like he does. That the risk is worth the reward.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But unless you obliterate an entire country and ideology and a religious, and again, listen, you're not going, I don't care what, you think you're going to get rid of this ideology?
No.
Is that what we think we're going to do? You think I don't care if you do a regime change, and every time we do something like this, all they do is get more convicted in their beliefs.
But that's what Straight Talk was indicating, is that, You go over there, you straighten things out, and if it flares up again, you go back again and straighten it out again.
So again, even if that's his position, where was it flared up? If that's his position, where was it flared up? Because his guy, the guy he voted for, told him it was obliterated back in June.
Yeah, he did say that.
And it would take decades. It would take at least 10 years to rebuild. So we didn't do our job then? I mean, so what are we talking about? Listen, Tim, at the end of the day, they can say that all they want. I don't believe in the way that people are treated over there in their country. I believe that diplomacy should win out before military action. Military action should be the last resort. I believe we should rely on our intelligence, not always relying on Bibi, because every time Bibi been saying the same shit since he's been in office.
Yes, he said the same thing about Iraq as well. But understand, while we're talking about Iran, Trump has already indicated he has his sights set on Cuba next.
Right, and again, well, yeah, that's in probably 2025. All of those places he has his sights.
Is there any more of them in there?
Yeah, Ecuador.
Fuck.
Yeah, Ecuador, Guyana, Colombia, everything he's been touching is in Project 2025. So, I mean, listen, don't take my word for it, just read it. But see, people like Straight Talk Commerce, they don't want you to read this shit. They don't want you to pay attention to what they're actually saying and they're actually doing. But let's say this, Tim. Show me where, even if they wanted to take military action, show me where making fun of unaliving your enemy on social media is something that you should be doing.
Yeah, I had a long direct message conversation with Gen X about that because Gen X was like, free speech and it's just a joke. And I told him, I'm like, I can't believe we're going back and forth over whether or not it's okay for a president to make jokes about killing people. Finally, he got it. He's like, yeah, I guess you got a point. Like, he's making jokes about killing people. Why is this okay? I don't get that one.
You got animations for those who haven't seen it. There's one animation. They got several, but there's one animation where it's a bowling. They're at it's bowling pins and a bowling ball, and the bowling pins are Iranians with scowls and big eyebrows on the bowling pins, looking mean, and they got the bowling ball representing the USA and knocking the bowling pins down, and it says strike with the fighter jet zooming off. I'm like, why do you think that rhetoric? This is not Call of Duty.
Not only that, but the people in Iran can get access to that stuff. So the idea that you think the U.S. is going to go in there and liberate them when they know the U.S. president has that type of humor, they're not going to follow us. I mean, even the folks who may be protesting against the government, we're going to kill a lot of people that are on the protester side as well. We're not only going to surgically take out who we believe that are bad. There's going to be a lot of innocent casualties, like those young girls. So when you're making jokes about killing people like bowling pins, I don't know if that really works well for having them come around to our way of thinking.
Well, and again, because listen, let's just be honest. This administration, the people that support him, they don't care. They're just as cruel as he is. He's a reflection of them. That's why they support him. These are the same people that were outraged when people were making fun when CK was on the line. Outraged. People lost their jobs behind saying stuff bad about CK. I thought it was free speech. Losing their jobs. Yeah. Now it's okay for the president of the United States that's supposed to represent all.
I use that same debate point with Gen X. I said the same thing. I was like, you weren't talking about free speech when people were joking about killing Charlie Kirk. And I see in the comments, Buckeye says, I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. A George Floyd reference, but...
Yeah, I know. Tim, they don't care. They don't care. They want to make it seem that they care because the reality is they're scared.
What do you mean scared? Scared how?
They're hiding behind the military. Look at the bravado that Pete Hegseth is supposed to be showing grace and strength and discipline. And all they're doing is hammering on our opponent. I have never seen another president. You can go back and watch film on presidents. You don't see secretaries of state and leaders of the military acting like this. We've never seen it because it antagonizes your enemy and it makes those sleeper cells that you're worried about, it makes them more inclined to not give a shit.
Yeah, listen. If Iran has a horrible regime that we need to take out, or if they're a threat to America, and we got to do what we got to do, that's one thing. But yeah, you don't make it sound like you're taking pleasure in killing people, because there are going to be innocent casualties in Iran. And no one should ever make it seem like they are enjoying taking the lives of people. And that is, you are correct. The administration is indicating that they're having fun doing this.
And it's funny, for those that served, and if you were in Afghanistan, and I didn't serve, and in fact, Afghanistan and Iraq, you know what I do remember? I remember when it was shock and awe, supposed to be over in 72 hours, and we had to put boots on the ground, and they started televising, capturing, and beheading contractors and Americans over there. I remember them doing that. I remember us seeing our soldiers being captured and having to be. I remember that shit, and it never sat well with me. So I don't understand why you would want to antagonize. You can show strength through peace by not being antagonizing to your enemy or to your opponent. You don't need to do that. All it's going to do is infuriate. Listen, if you don't believe me, even Buckeye. But there's nobody that can deny what I'm going to say. Buckeye, if I went after your family and your wife and your son, and then I wanted to celebrate about it, for whatever my reasoning was, you would not rest until you handled that. But we're acting as if, and again, they're saying, well, they're being cruel. I am not defending them. I'm just saying we're never going to agree. We're never going to agree. But if something happened to Trump right now, there would be some people celebrating, and there were some people that would be, ready to right? I mean, so when they always say, well, look at Iran, they're celebrating. Well, you would see the same footage here if you look for it. Yeah. We have to stop. We got to set, and here's the thing, Tim. I told you this 2 years ago. I've been on this app hoping to get people to understand before we got to this point. We're at a point now where we're losing lives. We're losing soldiers. We're losing government employees over there. People are injured. I know this directly and personally. People are injured over there, and we're over here with a president and the leadership group that's making a mockery of it.
I don't like the mockery. I wouldn't like it if it was on, even if I thought, and I don't believe what we're doing is 100% necessary, but even if I did, I don't like mocking, the taking of a human life. You can't call yourself pro-life and then be laughing at this shit. And in the comments, Handsome Conservative says, yes, you heard that I was right. Yeah, the boots on the ground, you're absolutely right about. I think we're all agreeing with that. And he says, so we're just going to skip over somebody that said, oh, I'm reading it. It took me a minute to see it, but I did see it. But real quick before we continue, Mike, Forever C10 says, man, I can't believe that man got on stage the other day and criticized how Obama bopped down the stairs getting off the plane was so unprofessional. He cried. Really? What are we talking about? What man got on stage the other day and criticized how Obama bopped down the stairs getting off the plane? Have you seen anything like that? Does that sound familiar to you, Mike?
No, but it's so funny. If he's still talking about Obama, but they talk about TDS, it's just crazy to me.
I think is he talking about Biden? Biden has failed down some aircraft step with Obama.
He's probably talking about how cool Obama went down the stairs because he was real fluid. He had the brother gate when he went down the steps one time. He was sort of to the side, like he had on some new Air Force Ones. But here's
what I don't understand. Obama's been out of office almost 10 fucking years. Why is Trump still talking about him so much? What happened to it being wrong to have derangement syndrome? Why is his name coming up so much?
I'm going to tell you this, because the right, including Trump and the right, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, all of those, when Obama got elected, they were trying to erase his ass in real time. They have been trying to erase everything. Matter of fact, it's so bad. What we're talking about right now, this is the very situation we're talking about right now, is because Trump could not stand Obama. He was undoing everything he did. If he said go left, he went right. When he said go up, he wanted to go down. When he had this agreement that they worked on for 2 years with Iran to put in place, he came in and undid that shit. He didn't measure the consequences or anything. I want to erase that nigga from existence. Take his painting, put it in the back of the White House. I'm just keeping it honest. Take his painting, put it in the back of the White House. Take that, Tim, and you know I'm telling the truth.
I don't get it. This dude, I mean, listen. I guess that's the only way to look at it is he must have some kind of envy or jealousy of the guy because this guy's been gone for 10. You served a whole term since Obama's been gone. Why is Obama still being discussed in 2026 from you? It makes no sense that you're going all the way back to this guy. You served a term. Biden has served a term. Now you're a year and a half into your second term, and you're still talking about Obama. What the fuck?
Because the first black president was a bridge too far for white America, for a subset of white America. That's why they said we're going to try to make him into a one-term president. We're not going to sign any legislation they put forth. They started yelling out at the State of the Union. If you remember that, when he landed in Arizona, he had the one congressperson wagging her finger in his face.
And yet they can clearly see from a mile away Trump derangement syndrome, and they're okay with that. I got to move it on, Mike, but that looks deranged to me.
Let me land this here. To anybody that's on this live right now that have children or friends or family that are serving or that are getting the call to go over there, my prayers are with them. I hope they all come home safe.
Same.
And I hope they come. I do, because we don't need to be here. And then here in the States, you have to be vigilant and pay attention to what's going on around you, because this is just getting started. It's just getting started. And to those that think people like me are talking out the side of our neck, fuck you.
All right. All right, Mike. Appreciate it. They definitely gifted the hell out of you. They love you, man. They love you. By the way, tap the screen. We're gonna get that 100K mark if we will, but tap the screen, get us on up to 80K. For my folks on YouTube, I need you guys to smash that like button. Understand, our politics goes left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So you hear left-wing opinions, but we certainly do not censor or limit anyone from the right that comes on the program, not to mention those who may find themselves in the middle somewhere as an independent. We are MAGA friendly, always have been, always will be. If you favor uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I'm going to ask if you're watching us on TikTok, Instagram, or Substack, follow the program. You happen to be watching us on YouTube, give us a sub. But for my YouTube viewers, certainly smash that like button. It would help out the program. Look at how did per capita help Charlie Kirk? I don't get what you're asking about there, Jay, in the comments. But now I see Dencal says no troops on the ground yet. I'm pretty sure. Are you saying you don't agree with it? Is Dencal, are you in there? I'll bring you up if so. I don't even have to ask you what you prioritize because President Trump isn't doing anything that he campaigned on, yet MAGA has no problems. Leads me to believe racism and bigotry is where you agree. Well, I'll disagree with you, Garrett. President Trump is doing some things he campaigned on. There's a lot of things he's doing that he did not campaign on. I want to argue that, but he certainly campaigned on getting the illegal immigration crisis under control. And that was priority number one when he got elected. So he is doing some of the things he campaigned on. He campaigned a hell of a lot about the transgender issues. He's done a lot about that since he's gotten in office. So I disagree that he's not doing anything he's campaigning on. You'd have a more legitimate argument if you suggested he wasn't doing everything he campaigned on, but he is doing some of it. In the comments, David says, I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. I was stationed in Camp Schwab in Okinawa. Beautiful, beautiful place to be. I was that expeditionary force that's heading over there right now from Okinawa. Wouldn't mind going to Okinawa, but I don't want to be sent from Okinawa. Isn't that where I know it's one of our spots to give us closer access to Japan during World War II. But isn't that also the Karate Kid? Wasn't that the fictional place? I mean, it's a real place, but isn't that where Mr. Miyagi claimed to be from was Okinawa? I think Karate Kid Part 2 was filmed there. Anyway, looking in the comments, real quick, I don't understand you. What side are you on, Tim? The right side, Dave. The right side. Listen, I am left of center. I have no problem mentioning or have no problem admitting that I do lean left of center, but I don't see everything from the right being wrong, and I don't see everything from the left being right. So I can kind of see why people lean, vote, and believe issues on both sides of the aisle. Hopefully that clears that up. Let me go back to the box. So you're the handsome moderate. Depends on who you ask, sub 5. Depends on who you ask. Let me go back to the box. I need you guys to tap the screen, get your boy up to 90 thou. We'll take the next caller at such. And we'll make it happen. Many IRGC soldiers are fleeing to Afghanistan. What is that? The Iranian. What is that? What does those acronyms stand for? There are some things that I dislike about Trump, but there's way more than any other president knowing how to run a country and not sleep. Well, you obviously lean right, so I can understand that. As someone who leans left of center, I'm going to obviously disagree with you on many issues, so it depends. Tap the screen, get us up to 90,000. We'll take the next caller at said number. Bro, get your live. Check it. Your eyes don't look so right because I'm staring at multiple cameras. I get that on every fucking line. Let me go back to the box. Didn't count. I don't know what happened with your. It's giving me some weird vibes on it. We'll try it again. We'll bring up the next caller at 90,000. If it brings them up. We're on this. By the way, we're on Instagram as well. So some of you folks that want to be live, you can come up on Substack or Instagram live as well. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Boots on the ground. What say you?
I'm still saying no.
Do you think that Trump is saying yes?
I think Trump is probably right now, he's kind of doing what the military leadership is telling him, that if he plans on doing this stuff, he needs to have certain things in place. So I think the military is just doing what they need to do just in case he does send it. But I don't believe, and I'm gonna keep saying this because I got hope for my brothers in arms, that they are not being sent in country to a place that does not want to be liberated.
So you're saying you still, just to make sure everybody understands, you don't believe Trump is going to put boots on the ground in Iran?
No, not in country.
Do you believe that he could successfully implement regime change without doing that?
No.
So you believe his mission will be a failure then?
Right. Yeah. You have to have boots on the ground to institute something like that. You can't totally remove a regime without anybody to physically be in there to enforce and actually seeing the change happen. You can't just wish it and then everybody on the ground is going to do what you want them to do. That's not how it works.
And how do you respond to the fact that they're announcing that thousands of Marines are on their way over? You think you're just going to waste money, send them all over there, let them sleep on the ships, and then return them back?
Yes. And I mean, I'm not minimizing it, but the amount they're saying, like 5,400, that's not a lot in terms of, if you think about when we actually did regime change, we had tens of hundreds of thousands of troops in theater. It's not a lot.
Is it possible, though, Dencal? Because many are suggesting that President Trump has already underestimated many aspects of this war, or some folks on the left are saying that they don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe he thinks 5,400 is enough.
Well, I can't imagine. I could imagine the leadership of the military as being led by Pete Hegseth.
Right. Maybe they don't realize you need more people. After seeing them take Maduro out with just a few dozen people, maybe they still are on their power trip. Well, we can do this shit. Just give us 4,000 or 5,000. We can make this happen.
Well, I would say to the people who the Trump supporters, that would be literally the worst mistake he could ever make, to send, a couple thousand men over there and watch them get,
I hear you, but I'm just simply saying that you got folks saying time in and time again that Trump, did he just not the other day tell folks that you should have guts and go through the Strait of Hormuz? Within 24 hours, ships are getting bombed. So it's possible he could be underestimating his enemy.
Right. So the more times we see it happen, the less likely it should happen again.
So you're indicating that Trump should be learning from his mistakes?
Oh, that's
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
I'm just trying. I'm saying, like, normally, we would like politicians that did, especially when it came to you using people's lives, using our service members to, to figure things out. He's
Yeah.
been out there saying a lot of crazy stuff about the war is over. I just need to make up my mind. I can tell. I get this real good feeling when I know the war is over. Like, it's just.
Yeah, did you hear him state? I played this earlier in the live. I just want to play it again for shits and giggles. He was on Brian Kilmeade this morning.
I'm doing something about it. And I had to take an excursion. We had the greatest economy in history. We still do. Oh, this will bounce right back. When it's over, and I don't think it's going to be long, when it's over, this is going to bounce right back so fast.
When are you going to know when it's over?
When I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it in my bones.
Will you ask anybody in particular? Or would that be some of these a joint decision?
I deal with people. I have great people.
Yeah.
You'll know the war is over when he feels it in his bones. Do you have any idea what that even means?
Unfortunately, I don't. I do not know what a feeling in your bones is. And remember, the Republicans or the conservatives, they don't like women. They won't want women to be in charge because they talk about it's about their feelings, and they operate on feelings. Now, this guy is literally
He's copping to it. Yeah, they do talk about that facts over feelings, and the Democrats are in their feelings. He literally is copying to operating on his feelings. I mean, you can't make it up. You can't make that up.
Yeah, no intelligence, no talking to subject matter experts, professional, just how he feels. That's how he's gonna know that people need to stop dying for a stupid reason. It's because he gets a feeling. And people will say, no, he's playing 4D chess.
Well, is there any possibility, though, Dencal, that this does come out really good for America? We get our regime change. We get, $1 a gallon gas. I mean, can we look on the bright side? Is it possible this could really turn out right and we end up, we all host Trump over our shoulders like the end of the game? You carry the coach off the field. Is it possible we could end up celebrating Trump?
I mean, anything's possible. But if we listen to history, we listen to subject matter experts, we listen to scientists, we listen to military experts, we listen to oil and gas experts. This shit ain't about to just end happily for everybody. That's not how this works. All of this oil disruption and them blowing up refineries and ways to refine oil in the Middle East. This is not a fucking game, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, you heard Mike talking about releasing videos of, bowling pins and cartoons of people dying. So they may disagree with you about it not being a game.
Right. I get it. When their side is in charge, they want to feel emboldened. They want to feel like we're winning, but we're not. We're not winning. When I guess
we're not losing right now, are we?
I think I was talking to you, was it last week or the week before, when we were talking about how much we thought the gas was going to go up, and I said around 50 cents, and you didn't think that was feasible?
That was fast. I mean, goddamn, gas is went up like 60-some cents on average in like 10 days. That was fast, man.
Right. So what we think is when people get on here, and I know it's far-fetched, but I think Gangsta Grandma said $8 is possible. It is possible. If we use that same logic for it, could this turn out great? It could. Could this turn out to be the worst disaster, financially for this country? Yes, it's possible. But we only operating on, well, maybe it'll turn out good when we don't see anything pointing to good. And when you say, this war is not for us.
But let me ask you this, because this is coming from Buckeye in the comments. He says, were we winning with Joe Biden in office? In other words, are we doing, despite what you're saying about Trump, are we still at least doing better than we was under the last administration?
No.
By what metric? By what parameters?
Say what?
By what metric are we not doing? What is Trump doing worse than Biden was during his term?
Well, we would have to define what winning is, because we can start out with something. We can look at Biden's term and say, well, inflation was up to 9%. And we use that elevated level to determine what losing is. We won't say that by the time he left, inflation was down to 2.6%. We won't say that. Yeah. When Trump was in office, we won't say that he had the highest unemployment in the last 50 years. We'll just skip to it and say, unemployment was fairly low.
Well, how about this one? And before I read this to you, Mr. G says MAGA ain't shit. He says he turned into the neocons they hated. You know, there is somebody that says that MAGA, not MAGA, but the Trump administration are the elite they pretend to hate. I think that's what you're trying to say. But how about this? Tanker Baker in the comments is saying we had $5 to $6 gas under Biden for 4 years. Is that your recollection of that?
See, that's what I'm talking about. You cannot have a real conversation or debate with somebody who says something that we know is demonstrably false.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never paid.
So what was the gas when he came in office? Because Trump would tell you it was $1.89.
Yeah. Yeah, as a former over-the-road driver, I've been in all the lower 48 states. I've never paid $5 a gallon for gas in my entire life. So I've done it under Biden. I've never seen that. So I don't know where. Maybe in California, or if you get out in the mountains, like once you get past, I think Denver, when you got like 70, 80 miles of nothing but mountain, there's a couple gas stations out in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the Rockies that rip you off. But $6 in gas, it's only a few places you're gonna find that.
Right. I mean, we can go back to when Trump came in office the second time. What was it? It was around $3 a gallon nationally, which means some places it was $5, and some places it was $2.50. Like the average is $3.
Yeah.
So them saying it was if you start a conversation out with the premise that gas was $5 for 4 years under Biden, we can't have a constructive conversation.
Well, I'll tell you what's being done, and I see in the comments, Christian is saying Democrat states, go figure, Tim. That's not true. You're not paying that kind of gas. And Colorado's a Democrat state. I mean, New Mexico's a Democrat state. Illinois is a bit high. Wisconsin, you're not paying it. That's not true. But I mean, I think what's happening here, DenCal, is when you're talking about the price of gas under Biden versus Trump, the reason it makes sense that Trump is doing so much better is because we bring up the price of gas during Biden's term in California, and under Trump's term, we bring up the price of gas in like Oklahoma somewhere where it's super cheap. So the disparity is really great. But if you bring up the price of gas in California under Trump versus Biden, or in Oklahoma, Trump versus Biden, is not that great. So they're picking a worse state under Biden and the best state under Trump. And then you see this huge disparity because under Trump, it was only $2 a gallon, and under Biden, it was $6. Yeah, because you're comparing California to Oklahoma State. So that's what's happening.
Right. So we're not even having a conversation in reality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Well, it's reality, but it's disingenuous, almost like an apples to orange comparison.
I would agree. Yeah. I don't want to call them a liar because it turns them off.
But Straight Talk Commerce says the shoe will one day be on the other foot, or better yet, the shoe will be on the other foot, and the Democrats are just going to have to wear it. So, in other words, Trump is going to do what the hell he wants, and the Democrats just need to accept that.
Well, that's true, and although deep down inside, I hope they don't do it, but me on the surface, I hope they get rid of the filibuster, because once we take over after the midterms,
yeah, well, you were expecting them to get rid of the filibuster and actually have a Democrat get back in there. You may never see the office again.
Well, we will get back in. History tells us that no matter what they do, we're going to have an opportunity. We're going to get back in because those independents are not going to like what the Republicans do without a filibuster.
Remains to be seen. I'll just say this. Trump has been able to do a lot more than I ever would have thought any president can do. if I had a nickel for every time I said Trump can't do, he had 90 some odd federal charges on him or what? No, but he had like what was it, 81 charges, and the feds have like a 90 rate. I was on here personally saying nobody's going to escape that. This entity talking about the federal government, they got you up on 81 different felonies, and they have a 96% conviction rate per felony. So they got 81 shots at you, and they are 96% accurate at hitting the target. There's no way in hell I thought he would have walked away from all of that. So I'm not going to say Trump can't do anything. That man can make magic happen. Apparently.
That's so true. Obviously, we just learned from one of Epstein's accountant that he was the one who did the deal to pay off one of the victims of Trump. So Epstein was paying the settlement between a sexual abused woman for Trump. So I just want them to explain.
Wait. Epstein was. What are you saying that Epstein was paying off one of Trump's victims?
Yes.
Well, because we're not going to find out.
Why would just give me one good
Buckeye,
reason.
thank you. Go ahead.
Why the most notorious sexual trafficker in the history of this country is paying off a woman that was abused by his friend?
Well, you know what I've been saying on the show from day one, didn't Cal? I don't think what's in the Epstein files matters in the eyes of at least MAGA. I don't think. Look, I really believe that even if it came out, even if they had a VHS tape or a DVD of Trump banging some kid, I don't think MAGA would give a shit. The mindset would still be, he is far better than what the Democrats are putting forward to run this country. Yeah, I don't like what he did with the kids or whatever, but I like the policies. I mean, I don't think it matters.
That is a sad state of this country when we say that MAGA does not care about children being sexually assaulted.
I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, and I know some folks are gonna disagree because we're not there yet, but there's no way in hell that anybody would look at his behavior and what's come out so far on any other human being and say that motherfucker ain't do something wrong. I mean, we don't have 100% evidence, but the circumstantial amount is insurmountable. Put it this way: if you believe you fell asleep and Trump was winning the 2020 election and you woke up and he was losing, so that shows that something was being done wrong. Or you believe what Giuliani said, they were passing around USB drives like vials of crack, or they're closing polling places. You can see all of that and think that they're cheating on the election. But you look at Trump, the way he's handling Epstein, and you don't see nothing wrong with that at all, huh? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You can make that leap on the election, but the guy's talking about stop talking about Epstein. He got rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's done nothing fucking wrong. And you can't make that leap, but you can do it on the election. Somebody tell me how that makes sense.
It sounds so much better when you explain it. to your MAGA loyalist, it sounds so much better when you say it like that.
I mean, like, I don't get it. I got to move it on, Cal, but I'm lost in the sauce on it. Like, you don't need to see much at all. All they got to do is close the windows at the polling place, and that means they cheating. This dude is sending out all kinds of redacted shit 2 months late. No connection at all, huh?
After a law was passed through Congress that they have to, and they say, well, it's just taking us a little bit longer than we thought. It's a law.
I don't have an answer for it. I got to go, Cal, as always. Appreciate you coming through, man.
All right. No boots on the ground, man. No boots on the ground.
Yeah, I think you're going to be wrong on that, sir. I really do. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your service, by the way, as always. Looking in the comments, as a Marine, the ones on the receiving end of that M16 does not have an iPhone. I don't quite get what you're saying on that. Buckeye says, I'm a Marine. Look at my medal. Buckeye, you on fire today. I tell you that. They know the truth. They just don't give a fuck. And they don't care about anybody but themselves. It's fuck you. Oh, I can't argue with that. I'll leave it at that. I need you guys to tap the screen. And my YouTube viewers, I need you guys to smash that like button. By the way, get us over the 100K hump on TikTok. Take the next caller at 105. We can absolutely make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. This is uncensored programming, facts only. Appreciate the bros. Thank you. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. You guys know how the program is ran. If you said 90, Further Great, Further Great, you drive a hard bargain, Further Great. I tell you. Speaking of which, your fan club. What does it say? Further Great. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's up, Slim Tim?
Not much at all. You know what I always say, hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So, boots on the ground. You think it's a possibility? Likelihood?
Yeah. Unfortunately, unfortunately.
Now, are you military? You former military?
Nah, but it's all in my family. I didn't personally serve, but
I
saw what Vietnam did to my uncle. And talking to my family members, they kind of liken this situation to Vietnam to the point that you don't want to fight them over there. But the only way you can try to achieve your goals is to do that. But it's basically going to be a bloodbath, and nobody's going to win in the end.
Well, I think we could win. We just have to be willing to pay a hefty price to do it. I mean, I think eventually, but shit, even if we win, as my last couple callers were saying, we're not going to change the hearts and minds of the people over there. So even if we get over there and we put in a regime, the people of that country probably are not going to like the people we put in because they're going to view them as not authentic. Kind of like we put Hamid Karzai in over in Afghanistan. The minute we left, he had to run. He ain't going back to Afghanistan no more. He had to flee that country. I mean, people can tell who's genuine and who's not. In a country like that that's very secular, very religious, we're Christians. So you don't put in a pro-Western leader. Everything about the guy is going to lack authenticity. So I don't know what a victory looks like.
And that's what I was going to tell you. Like, that's why I liken it to Vietnam. Just talking to some of my uncles and people that went through it. We went over there, kicked some ass, tore up some shit, but we eventually left with our tail between our legs because of what did we accomplish? You know what I mean? Just a lot of carnage and unnecessary lives lost. And like I said, they say the intelligence says that they don't have these capabilities, but since Trump had a feeling, he said fuck all that, and we just gonna do what we want to do. I've told you before, I'm not surprised none of this shit's happening because this is the guy we elected. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
but didn't see.
Do you think Kamala Harris would have did a better job?
I don't think we'd be over there fighting. I don't think it'd be boots on the ground.
But what about if Kamala Harris did not take the initiative, which we've had several presidents indicate that Iran was a problem, was a threat nuclear? If Kamala Harris did, is it possible that under Kamala Harris's watch, they could have developed atomic weapons?
Maybe. But like you said before, that's the sure destruction for everybody.
Yeah.
I love your thinking because that's how we roll over here. Our armed society is a polite one.
Yeah. I will repeat that for folks who never heard that. The Second Amendment crowd does often say an armed society is a polite one, meaning that if everybody's armed, people are not going to go around fucking with everybody because they know everybody can fight back. I don't know why people don't think that on a global scale. People tend to believe that if Iran had nuclear technology, they go out and develop the bomb, they're going to use the one or two bombs they got on nations that's got hundreds, if not, I think we got like 5,000 bombs. You going to use, you blow up Cleveland and lose your whole fucking country in the process? That makes no sense whatsoever that we tend to believe that the Iranians are just suicidal, that they're going to use one bomb and all of a sudden both Israel, not to mention at that point, then it would be NATO and the United States are going to just reign. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, once you think it out, man, it makes no sense. Like I said, I still, I'm not, privy to all the secret shit, but it doesn't sound like Trump is either because, They don't know what the fuck they're going over there for. One day is this, one day is that. You know, you remember the yellow cake? What the fuck are we doing, man?
Yeah,
you
and
know?
and I'm kind of chuckling also because I see Love the Crew says, "Damn Tim White, Cleveland." Would it be better if I had said Charleston, South Carolina? But the point I'm saying is, I don't believe if Iran developed nuclear technology, they're going to go ahead and launch. They're in the infancy of doing this, and they're going to launch what they got. That's crazy. I mean, that's like going out and building your own printed gun and well, I'm gonna go walk into the police station with this now. I mean, like you gonna be dead. I mean, it makes no sense to think that Iran would do that.
But it's the same logic we use here. Why do people stockpile pew-pews? What are their excuse? I want to be ready. You know, they got them, we gotta have them. So what's the fucking difference? You know what I mean? You know, it's one of those things. I think if everybody had them, we wouldn't have these problems.
Well, but the problem is America is at the top of the food chain. And if every nation on earth had an ample way of defending themselves, it would be more like equality. You ever heard of the phrase that equality for somebody who's at the top, equality feels like oppression. So if they brought us down to everybody, because we live better, even poor Americans are middle class, if not wealthy, in a lot of nations. If all of a sudden we were equal, we would be living a lot worse. So we don't want to give that superiority portion up.
Kind of like white tea supremacy, huh?
Hey, American supremacy. I'm not arguing with you, but I'm just saying that if every nation on earth could defend themselves, it would not be good for the United States because we couldn't. We do it. We do really well through bullying and intimidation.
Yeah, hey, and I benefited from it because I live in this free country.
Right, we all do.
But one thing I do know is that everybody don't sit on top of the hill forever. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, NATO, all these other friends and allies we keep shitting and pissing on. I'm just telling you, man, I see how this goes in real life. You know, you know the big guy on the block, all his buddies like, man, he got to go. Eventually, they take him out.
Well, the problem is we're getting rid of buddies. So it might even be easier to recommend that because we're telling folks, I mean, we don't threaten Greenland. We're treating Canada like shit. I don't know who the fuck hates Canada, but all of a sudden we started hating Canada. I don't know where that came from. And then, of course, NATO and all of that, too.
Yeah, I mean, and these people are our neighbors. You know, our balls is so big as a country that we can look over the fence and say, fuck you. We're going to throw our dog shit over there. You get it up.
And real quick in the comments, Dencal is saying that the Department of Justice is saying that the Marines are headed over there to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that's a long strip of land, and obviously one side of it is in Iran. So that's boots on the ground. There's no other way to look at that. That is boots on the ground. There's no other way to look at that. So Dencal, you're wrong. And he says, let MAGA go over there and do his bidding, says Angel Law Jackson.
What's up, brother Dencal? But yeah, man, I hate to say it, but I actually see Trump sitting at a table with headsets across from him and be like, G2, I sunk your battleship. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Jesus. Well, when you look at the fact that they're making jokes and shit about killing people, I can see them joking about I sank your battleship and stuff like that. I can see that. I mean, because he's making he's comical about it.
And that's how you know that no Trump in history has ever served, because this guy has no compassion for what he's doing and what he's sending people into. I mean, it's very callous, man. And I mean, and that's why it's so hard to say, okay, the libs hate him, the libs did this, we try to take his ear out. Nah, the man got enemies from everywhere. But everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but MAGA loves this shit. So, I mean, there's plenty of MAGA that have served, and you heard Straight Talk was like, you know, if I was 10 years younger, I'd strap up and go help.
And there's no fucking excuse. Go.
You can't send a 50-year-old. You can't send a 50-year-old man over there.
Why not?
They become a liability at that point. You can't do that.
Hey, I'm saying shit. He could buy his own ticket and go over there. I mean, put on your army fatigues, live out your days, bro. I mean, if it's that much to you, I'm not going.
You crazy. Now, real quick, I want to discuss this. And now for you guys that can see on the monitor here, this is the Strait of Hormuz. So you see on the map on my screen there. Now this little tiny choke point there, where is it here? I guess that's kind of the most vulnerable point because it's not very far across. Now the whole top of my screen is Iran. All of that is Iranian territory. So I'm assuming probably a few dozen miles on before the choke point and after the choke point, you could be a prime target. I don't know. And now this, looking at the key that's on here, this got to be easily several hundred miles to go the Iranian portion around this because they got a 20 mile key and it's pretty small. So you're gonna need a lot of Marines to cover that because they could be firing from the side of this anywhere along that, and because it's not that great of a distance, you're gonna have a hard time shooting down a drone or anything that comes from Iranian territory towards a ship going through this shit. I mean, this is gonna be a mess.
I'm looking at your map. I'm looking at the map. And like I said, I'm not a military guy at all. But that seems stupid as shit. That 2,500 ain't gonna do it. What they gonna do? Go out there and hand out pamphlets, try to talk to people, because you're not gonna take over shit with 2,500.
Yeah. And there's also a little island out here you can see up top there that's in Iranian territory. I guess they're gonna have to. We would have to probably take over that whole island and probably put Marines on that. I mean, they're gonna have to take that over because you don't know what could be coming off that fucking island that you're selling by. So yeah, we're gonna have to do some combat to make this happen. They're not just gonna give all that up.
And I've been trying to get up here for a while. I appreciate you bringing me up today. I know how it gets. But what I think people also missing is I think this motherfucker is so vain that somewhere maybe after this or whenever he goes to Cuba, where the fuck else he gonna go, we're gonna bring up this Nobel Peace Prize shit. And I hope all this shit about him getting a Nobel Peace Prize, but I don't put the shit past him, man. I wish I could say that's not some part of this, but I'm telling you, something in my bone tells me he's gonna be like, look what I did. I took out this guy, that guy. I need a Nobel Peace Prize.
No, there's nothing. I mean, based on what he's doing, whether it's Maduro in Venezuela, this here, or Cuba, or we can even talk about all the other places like Syria and Yemen that he's bombed. There should be no mention of peace from your administration. You were literally at military conflict. The way it's looking, like you're going to be in military conflict the whole 4 years you're in office. So, yeah, you don't get a peace prize. But what I was saying, I'm trying to see if I can hold a pin up here. Literally from this point here, all the way around here, all this is Iran. And this is, I mean, the 20-mile Legion is down here at the bottom. You can barely see. But from here to here, maybe about this distance here is 20 miles. So this is going to be hundreds of miles you got to protect because it's such an easy strike to catch any ship that's sailing through this shit. And this area here is really narrow. There's an island there, this long-ass island here. It looks like there's a little peninsula. I mean, there could be people on all of that shit. So I don't see how you do that with a few hundred people, 2,500 or whatever. I don't see how you defend all of that.
And I think he's hearing the rumbling that he done fucked up the church's money too, literally. So he's getting desperate because I'm sure these people with this big money, like, bruh, what the fuck is you doing, bro? You know what I mean? Like, whatever you telling them, we don't give a shit because bottom line is our money. And he's fucking up with people's money. It's fucking up our economies, other economies, and he has to get desperate. But unfortunately, it's going to be our loved ones that's going to pay for the shit.
Well, I guess we'll find out how much this costs after his, because you don't know from his administration. And Buckeye, appreciate the hat and mustache. Yeah, thank you there, sir. But
I'm not talking in the sense of what we paying. I'm talking about what it's costing people just sitting there. It's things that's not moving. Oil.
Oh, you mean moving. Yeah, but they're gonna probably implement supply and demand. So even if they have to let sit shit for a while, they're gonna probably just mark the shit up so that when they do sell it, they get their money back.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They're gonna get the money, but we're gonna get squeezed. I think I know your point, devil's advocate and shit, but I'm telling you, at this point, 5 years of this guy, this shit's not gonna get better. I don't want to hear Tim. Well, maybe it will. No, it's not.
It might get better. Trump may pull it off.
Ain't no might. Tim, you might get in the NBA.
But that ain't gonna happen.
Exactly. It's a wrap, man. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to call the shit for what it is. It's going to get worse here. He's creating enemies outside of these outside of our territory and within. I don't understand how you think you could just kick over doors of people that citizens.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but
you're not creating enemies.
I hear what you're saying, but the argument is if it will prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, it's worth it. And I see in the comments, CBOG Kush says they're starting a war that will greatly increase the number of vets that will need benefits, but this administration just tried to take away some veteran benefits a month ago.
Exactly.
Why are we fighting? That's a great point. You're gonna have people with PTSD and everything. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, there's so many layers, and that's gonna come from this. The best case is what you guys think is gonna happen, but it's gonna have lasting effects. I told you this fucking administration is gonna cost us 50 years of kissing the ass and giving out deals to even get where we was at.
50 years of kissing ass?
Yeah. I mean, why would you do business with us? Quote unquote, there's enough MAGA. So
how about this,
MAGA coming up behind him?
How about this, because Buckeye raises a good point in the comments. Tens of thousands of jobs. That's actually true. Not to mention jobs for replacing people who are now dead, but also you got to make all the weapons and shit that we don't use. I mean, there's going to be a lot of jobs created. War always creates jobs. I mean, it's a hell of a look on the bright side approach, but of a war. But it is something to talk about.
Tell those guys at Arlington Cemetery that thank you for giving us a job. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's the rationale.
I shouldn't be laughing at that, but that is true.
But it makes no sense, man. I mean, come on. Oh, I mean, he lost 700,000 jobs plus in 13 months. This shit's not going to get better. I've seen enough. Y'all keep breaking wishbones and put rabbit foots in y'all pocket. This shit's a wrap.
Breaking wishbones and putting rabbit's foots in your pocket.
What's a wrap, bro? That shit, ain't no upside to this shit. It's only gonna get worse. And the minute we come to grips with that, people get out there and vote and do what y'all gotta do. But man, this train is off the fucking tracks. Ain't no getting back on it.
What if we end up commandeering the oil production in Iran and gas drops down to $1.50 per gallon? Would you then change your tune?
No, Tim. I told you I was willing to pay $20 before.
You are the one that said that. You are the one that said that.
And you the one that told me that I might get my $20, and you was fucking right. You said that to me. Yeah. You might be fucking right.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to go back and queue up some of my old lives that are on YouTube. Some of the stuff I don't want to be right about, and it's like the boots on the ground thing. I think Denkel is still adamant that it's not going to happen. I don't believe that. I think it's I would be willing to damn near bet and offer double your money at this point that we're going to put some boots on the ground in Iran. That's absolutely going to happen. So,
but just me and you on a fucking TikTok live looked at the fucking screen at that map and said, 2,500? I hope he's paying 40 just with that, because that's not going to fucking do it, bro. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's the poor people as it was in Vietnam. You know, it won't be barren. You know what I'm saying?
No, it won't be. Now, Barron is making a killing off of selling drones. He got a huge government contract. Barron will be okay.
Exactly. So the grift has been on, man. Only thing's going to happen, this dude's going to get richer. The country's going to get more fucked up. And it's going to be 50 years before we realize what the fuck we had. That's it.
I wish I was a friend of him. I got to move it on for the great. I got to move it on, but there is a lot of money rolling around in the Trump camp. I wish I was a friend of him. I mean, money could just roll. I mean, he's got a like pig pen on the peanuts, just, dirt. Money just floating around this dude. Like, I wish I could hang around him for, money just hanging around this guy.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing.
I got one thing, man, it's kind of off topic. I just couldn't get up here the other day. When we have these AB discussions,
yes,
I never hear people say the worst thing than an unalive baby is an unloved one. So we want to bring these kids into a situation that a motherfucker don't want them, where a kid figure like, why didn't you just A-B me from the jump?
Because they believe that, because they tend to believe that if you ban abortion, there is enough people out there that are going to adopt these kids. I don't believe that whatsoever. Particularly black kids don't adopt well, but that's what they believe. So that's where they're getting it from.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. Hey, tap the screen, get my man up to 300,000 wow, and best show on TikTok. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it. Much love. Thank you for coming through. I just hit something that I didn't mean to hit. There we go. All right, so tap the screen. He is right. Get us on up to 110, 115. Free Jordans for life. I love it when I hear these folks say, oh, I wish this or that to be rich, yet you chose TikTok. Huh? Steve, I don't get what you're saying. I don't understand that. Maybe we should pay for the Marines. They're leaving Camp Hansen in Okinawa, 12 to 14 days, they'll be there. Yeah, we've been kind of talking about that. Man, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. Apparently, now I'm looking at News Nation right now, and apparently Iran they're showing the amount of ships that Iran has struck in the Strait of Hormuz. It's a lot of them. It's got to be at least a dozen. There's got to be at least a dozen ships that have been struck in the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know what time period because I don't have the audio up, and I can't show it to you for copyright purposes. But if you got News Nation, you can turn it on. And it's Cuomo's program. It's his hour right now. But Trump, and I see it says breaking news: Iran increases strikes in Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, their map that they just had up showing the ships that got struck, just to bring mine back up. They were all over this shit. All over it. In fact, past where I'm showing you, it would have been past that. So they're not just hitting them here in the choke point. They're all over it. So Iran is, because all of this shit up here is Iran. All of this is their nation and beyond that you can't see on the map. So they got that's a big ass country. I think they said it's twice the size of Texas. So it's a big, big country. So they're hitting ships everywhere. And that's in addition to the belief that they've also put mines in the strait. So my guess is, even if Trump is successful, it's going to be a while before that's opened up. I mean, you got to go over there and neutralize all of the threats. Hopefully that's quick. And then you got to sweep the damn area for mines and shit like that. And then I suppose you got to leave a contingent force in place so that they don't come back and do it all over again. This could be far longer than anything that we dreamed of in Venezuela. So I think the Trump administration, if I would make one prediction, I think the Trump administration greatly underestimated how easy and how quick this would be. I mean, I don't see that happening. I don't see this ending anywhere near as quick as they suggested. But as I said, I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think so. Looking in the comments, though, yes, we have the most sophisticated military in the world, but how did that work in Afghanistan? True. How did it work in Iraq? How did it work in Vietnam? Once you put boots on the ground, you just another motherfucker with a gun. I mean, now you're on equal footing. Once you're going house to house and all of that shit, you just another dude with a gun. Yeah, you might be calling an airstrike occasionally, but for the most part, you just another dude with a gun. They got sniper rifles, you got sniper rifles. They got a machine gun, you got a machine gun. You got a cannon or artillery, they got the same shit. So once boots are on the ground, that superiority complex drops significantly. So we'll see what happens, though. Real quick, another Iraq. Somebody says Montana Slim. There are certainly not some, but there are a significant amount of similarities, in my opinion. I mean, we're being told that Iran is under the operation of an evil dictator. That's what we were told about Saddam Hussein. We were told Saddam Hussein was killing his own people. That's what we were told about the Ayatollah. We were told Saddam Hussein was in possession of weapons of mass destruction. We're told this guy's trying to pursue a nuke. So there is a lot of similarities in regards to these two conflicts. A lot of similarities. We'll see how it turns out. And Dick Cheney, may he rest in peace, was one that suggested that the Iraqi folks would view us as liberators. They're also telling us that now as well, indicating that the Iranians are going to view us positively and favorably. So there's a lot of similarities between the two conflicts. And most of the stuff we can admit from the Iraqi conflict did not pan out. I don't understand why they seem to think that. And I see in the comments, Tamara says, no, they united them. Yeah, yeah, and they're going to probably do that in Iran. Every single, innocent casualty, like the whole school getting blown up, and then the president's on TV saying the Iranians did that to their own people, saying the Iranians had tomahawks. Even the protesters that want America to take out the Ayatollah, they're not going to view that favorably. You don't blew up a school full of kids, and now you're trying to lie about who did it. You're not even taking credibility for what you've done. I don't know how that makes us look any better than the guy killing the protesters. You made a mistake, we get it, but then to lie about it and try to put it on somebody else, how does that make you look any better than the Ayatollah you claim to be against? Nobody should support Trump anymore, says Joel. Well, that's all right. We'll leave it at that. Calling on all MAGA patriots. Let's go. Okay, we kicked the Taliban's ass, Tim. What happened at the end wasn't military's fault. It was politicians. Well, no, it was the politicians' fault. The thing about it is, it's like going to the ocean and talking about how you're going to really kick some ass and bring home a bunch of water. Eventually you get tired. No matter how much of this shit you scoop up, it's more water there. Eventually we just realize the Taliban is not going to change. They're not going to change. We're not going to liberate these people. They favor, religious-wise, living like this. The women don't want the equality and all of the shit we're portraying. They believe their God tells them to be submissive or to live this way. They don't want to live like Christians do in America. So you're trying to force something on the people that the people don't want. And eventually it fails. And eventually Trump, under his first term, realized this shit's going to go on forever. Let's just make some kind of deal so we can safely get out and give them their shit back. And Afghanistan is now in the hands of the Taliban once again. And they're just as oppressive as they were before we went there some 20 years ago. It's the same shit. Anyway, going back to the box, are we at 115? Yes, we are. We'll go to the one and only Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Welcome to the program. We need to mind our own business. We have enough to do in our own country. Says, that's what Trump ran on. He ran on that. He just changed his mind. Travelman, good evening.
Hey, Tim, how you doing, bro?
I don't even know what the notion that we may be putting boots on the ground. What say you?
Well, they got the MEU out there, the Marine Expeditionary Unit, the fast response unit out of Okinawa. No. If we go, number one, because of the topography of Iran, it'd be kind of hard to do an amphibious assault. Okay. Number one.
So how do we get on land? Parachuting everybody?
I'm not saying they wouldn't do it. I'm just saying if we did, it'd be difficult. It wouldn't be like a cakewalk or anything like that.
So you're expecting casualties on the arrival?
Oh, hell yeah, big time. Yeah, if they go in there, I don't care how they go in. They go in by 101st Airborne. They go in the 82nd. A mule, doesn't matter. You're gonna crank up the body bag manufacturer.
Let me ask you this. Now, this may sound like a stupid question, and if folks think it's stupid, you can tell me in the comments. But Trump is a fighter. Trump does not back down. The notion is if you hit Trump, he hits back 10 times harder. If we start getting a lot of casualties in Iran, could you ever see Trump going into the nuclear option or doing something really, really damaging to that country?
No, not the nukes. I don't know why everybody is up on this nuke thing. You know, to me, nukes is just like they always been. There's always been a deterrent.
Yeah, but let's say Trump is getting the shit knocked out of him. He's being embarrassed because the casualty numbers go way the hell up. It's becoming very unpopular in America. People are dying, and it's making them look bad. Maybe the Iranians are now posting cartoons of our people dying, like we've done, like the Trump administration has done of them. You don't see Trump taking it to some insane level.
The insane level I see him taking it to is the total destruction of Iran, like they did in
That's
Syria.
why I asked you. That's why I asked you nuclear.
Well, let me finish. Like I'm saying, like they did the Gaza Strip, like Russia's doing to Ukraine. They would go in and just drop bombs on everything. They wouldn't nuke them. I mean,
carpet bombing. Carpet
they
bombing.
do carpet bombing. Yeah, I mean, they just destroy the whole damn country.
But I thought we were there to protect the protesters. Now you're killing them.
That's a different analogy. You moving the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts.
You just said no. The scenario you gave is different from what you just said.
No, I'm saying if their military, men of the former Ayatollah, not the protesters, but let's say, I mean, the country has 90 million people. I don't know how many of them are part of the military, but they got 90 million people. They're a quarter the size of the United States, so that's a big ass fucking country. But I'm saying, let's say their military, not the protesters, people that the protesters don't like, let's say their military was able to inflict a significant amount of casualties on our country. Do you think that alone would be enough to cause Trump to carpet bomb the whole country, protesters and all?
Okay, let me tell you something, Tim. Let's not get caught up in the moment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we do go in there with boots on the ground, yes, initially you have, because you would have casualties during the initial, okay? But you can go out to Camp Pendleton, you can go to 29 Palms, and probably one of the Army bases, and they have terrain that is similar to what's over there. And they actually have towns and stuff set up to do urban combat stuff
like a mock invasion.
They can do all that, right?
Yeah, like a mock invasion.
So if we did go in there, initially, might be some resistance, but we would do the same thing. Our military is superior. We would put a hurt on their ass. Ain't no doubt about that.
Well, wait a minute. We put a hurt on the Iraqis. We still lost 6,000 men.
Yeah, we did. But you gonna lose people. Okay, you gonna lose people. I mean, ain't no getting around that. Now, Trump say he'll know when he feel it. I don't know if he's gonna feel it in his heel where his bone spur is at. I don't know where he's gonna feel it at. Okay, but the bottom line is when you go into somewhere, you gonna lose people. You know. But when you think about how long we were over there, and we only I don't want to make it sound like trivial. Well, we lost 6,000 people in what was that? 10 years?
Yeah,
in 10 years.
Probably low. Yeah, but I mean, the thing about it is not only do you lose 6,000 people, you got. I mean, how many came back fucked up, missing limbs and part of wounded warrior commercials and shit?
We lost 58,000 in 10 years in Vietnam.
Vietnam, yeah.
You know, okay, so yeah, we gonna lose people, no doubt about that. You know, it's just like Afghanistan, right? The military didn't lose Afghanistan. The politicians did. Trump was the one that went over there and signed the surrender deal with the.
Yeah, but what happens if Trump don't sign that deal? We probably would be still in Afghanistan.
What happened if Trump didn't sign that deal? They never met any. The only thing the Taliban did, the only condition they met was they said we would not fire on U.S. soldiers, and that's what they did. Now, they also released 5,000 Taliban fighters that immediately went back to the field.
Right.
Plus, how you gonna negotiate with one party and leave the whole other country out of it? So that right there told the military and the other public officials, okay, they just sold us down the river. Yeah. So therefore,
we just want to get out. We don't give a shit what when Trump negotiated with the Taliban, the goal was, I'm tired of this. I don't want to spend any more money on it. We just want to leave. We don't give a fuck what we're leaving behind.
That was it. And so what happened? When the Taliban started, you didn't see the pride in country that you saw in Ukraine. You saw the Afghan army throwing down their weapons and getting the hell out of Dodge. And everybody always holler about, oh, we left all this stuff and we left billions of dollars in Iraq. We left equipment in Iraq because it was supposed to be for the Afghan army. We didn't know they were ballless and they were gonna take up and run. But when you negotiate without one party, you know what you expect gonna happen. Yeah. I talked to the guy that actually did the physical examination on the Afghan president before he left. So he was like, they came on there with bags and bags of money.
You talking about Harman Karzai?
No, one Karzai. He wasn't the president then. It was the other dude. Whoever the last president was. But back to Iran. Boots on the ground, big mistake.
Now you're former military, right?
Yeah.
What branch?
Marine Corps and Navy.
You are Marine. Okay, so wow. Well, I mean, shit. Let me ask it to you this way: if we can stop Iran from becoming an atomic power, weapon-wise, is it worth it? If we lose, we may lose some. We're going to lose some people, as you rightfully point out. But is it worth it if we can stop them from obtaining atomic weapons?
No, we didn't stop North Korea. Trump went over there and got pictures with Kim Jong-un and everything, crossed over the line, all kind of played them like a Stradivarius. And they still got nukes. They still launching missiles into the Sea of Japan.
Didn't he have Kim Jong-un was invited to the White? He came to the White House too, didn't he?
No, he didn't come to the White House. Trump went over there, but he did all kinds of shit over there.
You sure he didn't? I thought he had him at the White House.
No, I don't think so. But see, look at why did we go into Iran? Why did we launch against Iran? Because we wanted to kill the nuclear program. Right. They said that they had ICBMs that could possibly reach the United States. Right. That was a lie. We were supposedly obliterated the nuke program. That was a lie. So why are we there?
Well, maybe it's too old, man. Maybe it's too old. I mean, why do you think that this became so important under Trump? We speculating because we don't fucking know, but why do you believe all of a sudden under Trump going into Iran became such an important thing to do?
Personally, I think Trump got caught up in the newspaper clippings. They went into Venezuela. They were successful there. They went over there. I think he's hit 6 or 7 countries. His narcissism wants him to control the world. You know what I'm saying? So you see what he said? I wanna be in on the selection process of the next leader of Iran. Who the hell is that arrogant?
Yeah. And I do agree with you on that. I think that is the case, that he had a real easy go in all of the other countries we've attacked, certainly with taking Maduro out of power. And I do believe that he thinks that it's a simple thing to do. I mean, maybe some of his advisors like Hegseth or whatever, has told him we can do this. Our military is superior. Because all my MAGA viewers believe this shit's going to be a cakewalk. So my guess is he believes it too.
Yeah, everybody got a plan until they get hit in the face.
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Mike Tyson. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what he believes.
And then he said Cuba after that. I mean, he got a list of the dude for some reason has. I'm telling you, it's a mental condition. He wants to. He seems to think that we're going to rule everything. First of all, he has basically destroyed everything that the United States set up since World War II.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
The world order that we were leading has basically been torn apart. The Europeans don't trust us. No other country trusts us because we reneged on damn near everything. Trump even reneged on the freaking USMCA, which he negotiated himself.
Yeah, I don't know if I would totally say the Europeans. I think they know we elected Trump, and I think their ire might be at Trump. If we get another president in there after Trump that goes on as Obama, they claim, was on an apology tour or something like that, I think some of that could be salvaged. But yeah, Trump has made it clear all of you guys ain't shit. We don't need NATO. We don't need Canada. So yeah, Europe is not a big fan of Trump. I believe that. But I don't know if they quite turned their back on the United States.
I agree to a certain extent. The problem with that analogy is that not only did we elect him once, but we went out 4 years.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Elected him again after he was also convicted of crimes.
Yeah.
And we turned around and elected this dude again. And then on top of that, you have the Congress, which has been denutted, neutered. There are units right now, and they have let this man run rampant, run amok for 2 years. And so now, who's going to trust?
Yeah.
It can be rebuilt, but you're talking multiple administrations. It's going to be rebuilt.
Yeah,
MAGA has been the worst fucking, I don't cuss a lot on him, man. But I'm going to tell you right now, MAGA has been the worst fucking thing that happened in this country. MAGA is a result of the Tea Party and QAnon fucking, and they spawned MAGA. Okay? That's what it is. Because they are totally fucked up. They have taken the word patriot. The patriot doesn't even mean what it used to mean. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, all you MAGA a-holes out there, all you Richard Craniums and Earth Biscuits that back all this shit that Trump do, take your ass down to the recruiting office, send your son down to the recruiting office, and sign your ass up. If you're not going to sign up and take your ass over there and do what Commandant Bone Spurs wants you to do, then STFU. And you know what that means.
Shut the fuck up. We know what it means indeed. Travelman, I got to move it on, but the way you say it, I guess I can't counter, because I was going to say that, yeah, Europe hasn't lost their, necessarily lost their affection for us, but when you rightfully point out, now you elected this motherfucker twice, and your lower houses are not doing anything to stop him, so we got to assume you guys like what he's doing.
Hey, one quick thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Number one, he fucked the farmers 3 times, right? He fucked them 3 times. Now he done fucked them again. Man, I don't never curse this much. Okay, now he done jacked them up again because a large percentage of the world's fertilizer comes through the Hormuz Straits.
Yeah.
So now they fucked again.
But they're MAGA. They're still MAGA. Farmers for Trump. Farmers for Trump.
You can't go to Hollywood, get the best script writers there and say, write this shit. They can't make this shit up, man. I'm telling you. He done fucked them 3 times, and they still bending over with no Vaseline.
God. Now that you painted it like that, I gotta go, Travelman.
All right, bro.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Tap the screen. You too. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 125 for the great. Appreciate that. Looking in the comments, I gotta get out my. Where the fuck did I put my glasses at? I'm not gonna be. Oh, here we go. Get my spectacles out because I can't read shit nowadays as I'm getting older. I had a guy in there, Dave. I did want to talk to him. I don't know what happened, but because I do want to hear from some of my MAGA viewers as well, because I'm curious how many, because MAGA tends to favor this, and I'd like to know why. They believe in at least I ain't black, says Freedom Fighter. Okay. You're going back to the Biden quote. Is that what you're going with? Good caller says Mr. V. Appreciate that. They love to be entertained. LOL over life, says Luke Skywalker. Fuck Trump, says Jerome Francois. So what about Clinton's kids? What about Bill Clinton? You want to talk about Chelsea Clinton? Really? I don't understand why. This dude's clued in on life. I need to go to get a rotary phone from the Goodwill. Buckeye. Tap the screen, folks. Get your boy likes on up to 125. We'll take the next caller at that. By the way, if you're on YouTube, I need you guys to tap that like button. Help your boy out. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Most of my MAGA's on YouTube. But if you want to come up and be a live caller, I would implore you to go to Handsome Liberal on Instagram, Handsome Liberal on TikTok, Handsome Liberal on Substack. That's where we bring up callers. Instagram, Substack, and TikTok. Unfortunately, YouTube does not allow me to do that. That's their own app, because I would love to bring up more MAGA viewers as well. $50 million, who do you think you got? Chelsea Clinton. I don't know. Why is Chelsea Clinton coming up? How far back you guys? Bill Clinton he left office in 2000. Shit, you're almost going back 30 years at this point. What relevance does bringing up Bill Clinton have to do with any of this? I don't even know that. Farmers will take all the suffering in the world and say, at least I ain't black. Damn, Freedom Fighter, well, there's a lot of farmers that are black, are they not? There's black farmers out there. What are you suggesting, that as long as racism is on the menu, people will eat whatever you give them? Is that what you're trying to say? Looking in the comments here, the CGOG Kush, I see that in there. I wanted to bring up the next caller. We'll go to Super Evil. Don't know what I hit there, but we'll see what happens. Money talks true, says Netanyahu. White House said,
man, he was very, very, very thorough, very thorough.
Thank you. You gotta tell me the show is playing in the background. What's in the background?
Like, man, we need people like you.
I can't hear. You got something in the background going on. Okay, I don't know who. Apparently, he's having a conversation with somebody else. I couldn't talk to him. We'll continue moving on. I don't know what my last caller. I couldn't hear you talking to the show. It's like you were talking to somebody else. So we'll continue on with the program, and we'll make it happen from the one and only Buckeye 404. Buckeye, good evening. Welcome to the program. Apparently he dropped. We'll go to the box and move it on with Love to Cruise, one of my subscribers. Love, Callie Love, sounds like you're jealous. Jealous of what? Love to Cruise, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Not much at all. Troops on the ground. Troops on the ground to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear power. What say you?
You know, I've been listening to your show. I've never been in the military. So I'm listening to the guys that did actual service. And I got to follow their lead. And since most of them are saying against it, then that's what I'm going with. Except for somebody like straight dumbass talking, you know.
Straight dumbass talking. You mean straight talk commerce?
He was in the military. All he did was carry around a plunger and a snake. Oh, but he thinks he did active duty. But MAGA, them coward ass, they are really cowards. And they don't mind sending other people to do the fighting for them because they're not going to do shit themselves.
Well, in defense of MAGA, I will say this. And by the way, folks, help your boy out with the TikTok cap and mustache goal. We're pretty close. Help your boy out. Thank you, if you will. MAGA, you know, what you mentioned straight talk, for instance. He's made it clear if he was 10 years younger, he would go back and fight. He actually favors what Trump is doing so much, he would put his own life on the line. That's what he said.
When he was in there, he wasn't doing no damn fighting. All he's doing is unclogging drains and toilets.
I gotta find out what he did. Blue One Banks, thank you. I gotta find out what he actually did. I don't know if he was
quiet. He wasn't doing it. You know what? They're cowards. Just like what's his name? The other day I was listening to you, Gen X, talking all that rah-rah shit, and then the minute Gangsta Grandma came on there, he hung up like a little bitch.
Well, and Anthony Bellamy, thank you for the hat and mustache. You know, Gen X said Gen X has an issue with women. Well, not an issue, but he stated he does not believe women should be elevated to the same level as men. So he made it clear he does not want a woman talking to him like that. He said it. I mean, he don't believe women should vote. Remember that? He don't believe women should be in leadership roles. He believes women are lower on the scale of hierarchy than men. He said that many times on the show, so he don't want a woman coming on the show arguing with him. He don't believe that's their place.
Well, he should be over there on Iran. Because that's the way they think, you know. But that ain't the way we think over here. But yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Love to Cruise. I think there's a whole lot of people over here that does not believe a woman should be in power. And I'm not just talking about a black woman with Kamala Harris. I mean, I'm talking about a woman in general. A lot of folks do not believe a woman should lead this nation.
Well, you're probably right, and half of them fucking little girls. So you're probably right.
Oh my God. All right, I mean, I'm just saying. Jesus.
You're probably absolutely right. They can't handle a woman, so yeah, they get little girls and they're intimidated. That's where they can intimidate them.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and it's certainly not just conservatives. I don't had some liberals. The Hispanic community, for instance, believes in male leadership, male dominated roles. So there's a lot of people, I think, on both sides of the aisle that do not believe women should be at the helm. That go ahead.
Look here, we wouldn't be in this mess if Vice President Harris had been elected. I'm sorry, we wouldn't be in this mess.
You think Kamala Harris would have been a better president than Trump?
Absolutely. And you know what? It isn't so much that we were warned. This is Trump's last stand. He knows he's not going to be president again, so he's going out with everything he wants to do, get all his buddies, all the money, all the power, everything. And he has nothing to lose. What happens? Nothing. But they're going to leave us with the bullshit afterward.
Well, he does have a little to lose. I mean, his family's name. I mean, his children have to deal with what if he leaves behind a great legacy, they benefit. If he leaves behind trash, I mean, I'm assuming nobody in Germany goes by the last name Hitler anymore. So, I mean, if he leaves behind a horrible legacy, he's going to be running from that. You don't hear nothing about the Nixon kids. They don't want to come forward. And Trump is going to be pinned with a whole lot of things worse than Nixon if it doesn't go well.
Yeah, you may not hear about the Nixon kids, but I bet they're living good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably true.
Yeah, all right. Trump, he messes up or whatever. His kids on his daughter's husband already a billionaire. I mean, okay, so Trump's name is messed up and we got the same last name. All right, but we're living good.
But I'll say this though, in regards to the difference between Nixon and President Trump, because the Trump family has made so much money off the office, it would not surprise me if there were government entities trying to pursue them for some of that money back, as opposed to the Nixon kids who are just living fine off of just the wealth they've accumulated over the years. The Trump administration has made the Trump family has made a lot of money, particularly over this last year or so, from their dad being president. So it would not surprise me whatsoever if once Trump is gone, the government went after his kids for some of those contracts. And like the Barron has a drone company that within a few days of it being, going, what do they call it, public or whatever, all this money and contracts flood to it. I mean, like it didn't have any significant history, or it didn't have how do you get a government contract? You don't have a history of doing anything that would make you worth this other than your son is a deep investor in it. So it would not surprise me if they go after some of them for the money back.
I doubt it. They're not. He's a master manipulator. You know, the killing part is the war that started. We have all these other things. Nobody has said nothing about the partial shutdown of the government. We haven't even talked about this because when he's doing one thing, then he's shooting something else, and all your focus goes to there. Meanwhile, all this other dumb shit is happening, and we don't even mention all that.
Well, as Steve Bannon said, flood the zone. Throw so much shit out because just a few weeks ago we were talking about the Obama's his monkeys picture, and we were talking about the new stuff coming out of the Epstein files. The news moves really fast with Trump.
They talk about Biden and this and that, but it's been over a year in. I'm tired of the chaos. You get up. I don't even watch the news in the morning because I know it's some bullshit jumping off. So I don't want to deal with it that early. I'll leave it or listen to your show and find out. You and Mike can fill me in on what the hell's going on.
We'll try. I mean, I'm learning. I'm a work in progress like everybody else. I'm certainly not a know-it-all. I don't have all the answers. So I enjoy putting MAGA, independents, and liberals in the same forum. And hopefully we all can develop a little bit of more education out of all of this shit. But I don't know. I mean, is this something... Look, we may have some casualties, but is this something we could get in there, handle business, and get out? Maybe a couple months or so?
I think everybody forgot about how we felt when 911 hit us. We were ready to tear up the whole world.
Yeah.
And what makes you think they may not have the weapons or whatever, but you can't measure heart and determination? What makes you think the Iranians aren't feeling the same way?
Good point. It's a good point. I mean, certainly after seeing that school get blown up like that, I mean, that could develop a lot of.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another. Let me ask you this: when we initially bombed Iran, was it night or day?
We did that in the daytime. Usually we do that at night. It was daytime.
Okay, so this is the problem I have with that. I know we did it, and you know we got to take some point of accountability. But if a school is getting bombed 200 feet away from the military, why wasn't that school evacuated?
Well, apparently the school was formerly part of the military base. So we bombed the school based on 10-year-old intelligence. We thought that school was what we once knew it as.
But I'm saying, but that's what we knew it as. They knew it was a school.
They didn't know we were coming. The bombings were,
We started bombing. Once we start bombing, get the kids away from the school. And if it's done at night, why are you gonna send these kids to school?
It wasn't done at night. It was, in fact, not only was it done during the day, they actually took a picture of the missile coming down to hit it. So it's definitely done in broad daylight.
I personally think, and once again, it's still a tragedy, and that's fucked up. But I think they were using the kids as a human shield, thinking we wouldn't bomb the place.
I don't know about that. I think
that's what I think, because we bomb. I mean, you're gonna sit up there and ask. I'm not even looking from our side because of what we think, but I know they know what's there.
Iran is twice the size of Texas. This is a big ass fucking place. I mean, who knows how many schools? I mean, you want all the schools to be evacuated?
Oh yeah, I do want the ones sitting next to a military base evacuated. Yeah, like you said earlier, they're not stupid, and everybody knows in a time of war what's the hell's gonna go on. They probably shouldn't even been in there with all the. We send in ships and everything. They probably shouldn't even been in school in the first place.
To me, it sounds like you're blaming the victim. That's what it's.
No, I'm saying they contributing to the cause.
How they contribute? How are these little kids in school trying to learn contributing to the cause of their death? I don't get that one.
Well, the kids only just like if you got a school here. Matter of fact, in Dayton, Ohio, we have the Andrews base, and there's a junior high school over there. If a war breaks out, why would you send them kids to school knowing that Andrews Air Force Base is one of the top priorities?
I think if somebody bombed the school we had near a military base and we hadn't evacuated it, and the enemy was talking about we should have evacuated the school the way you're talking about the Iranians, we would think they were full of shit. I mean, like, you're blaming. I understand, I guess, under a abundance of caution, they should have done that, but you're definitely victim blaming with this. I mean,
no.
Go ahead. And then the lie and say Iran did it themselves, which is what Trump did, and to try to suggest that they had tomahawks, so they not only blew up their own school, but they used an American-made weapon. I mean, just lied about it, as opposed to taking credit for the fuck up. You know, we had bad intelligence or casualties happen in war.
We need to stop listening to Trump anyway. This is the same guy that said the reason the Confederates lost is because they didn't have enough airports. You know, and air base rather. You know, and we're gonna sit up here and continue to listen to him. I think, no, that ship has sailed.
This is your president, Travelman. This is your president.
I didn't vote for him.
But do you want Iran to have nuclear weapons?
How many would they build? 1, 2?
Bro, once they get one, and we can no longer fuck with them, it's not going to be long before they get 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're going to keep making them.
Look! All these countries that have nuclear weapons, nobody wants to be the first one to do that because they know what's going to happen after that. You know, so
Thank
the
you,
fact that
Church.
you got a nuclear weapon and you mess around and fire it on. I'm gonna use a different example than Cleveland, since I'm 20 minutes from Cleveland.
Okay, we won't. That's why you said why Cleveland, huh?
Yeah, 20 minutes from Cleveland, man. I'm like, why Cleveland? You know, but they hit a city and then we tear the whole country up.
Yeah.
I mean that doesn't make sense.
I think the problem is that we fucked up so much of Iran at this point. They probably don't feel like they got much to lose. We don't killed all of their leadership, and now we're talking about putting in a pro-Western leader. So we're talking about fundamentally changing the order of their country. I mean, imagine Russia killing all of the Senate, all of the House, the president, the VP, and talking about we're going to put in a pro-Moscow leader. I mean, we would be willing to die for that. I mean, you're going to change the country fundamentally to a communist nation. You want to put in a pro-Russian leader in the White House? I mean, we would be willing to fight to the death for that.
And they're going to be willing to fight to the death, too. That's the reason this is going to be a long, drawn-out war.
Yeah.
You know, I know you got all the mega, yeah, we got this, we got that. Okay, yeah. And this is what I'm disturbed about. If you are going to go and put boots on the ground, why are you making an announcement telling we're shipping so many Marines there? Just ship them there and put boots on the ground. If I know you're coming, don't I have time to prepare for you?
Well, once he started talking about, well, in my opinion, they probably knew we were coming for the last decade. I mean, every president's been talking about it. But then when you see Trump get in there, and he's literally, I mean, at this point, the Cubans probably know we're coming. I mean, like, how many times we got? I mean, we've seen what happened to Venezuela. Now America's in Iran. If you're within the ranks of Cuban leadership, you should be expecting the United States to likely invade your country. I mean, that's just the way it is. This guy is going from country to country. So I assume that they are as ready for us as they can be. I don't know if they can stop us, but I'm assuming that they expect America to enter their country.
I still, if you're really serious about going to war and not having that many casualties, I wouldn't tell them nothing. I would just be doing it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell them. You know, that's me. I don't know the rules of engagement or anything like that, but I know you don't tell your enemy what you're about to do to him.
Well, he could be lying. He could say there's 5,000 going when there's really 15,000. He might be taking your advice. You don't know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if you tell them 5,000, 10,000, you told them you're coming.
Yeah. Well, they had to know that already. Once you killed the leadership and you made it clear that we're not going to be satisfied unless you put in a leader that is pro-Western, everybody knows you can't do that without putting boots on the ground. So the minute he killed the head of their government and started talking about what he was going to replace it with, the writing is on the wall. They have to come in here to do that.
Well, that's another problem. He talks too much.
All right, I got to move it on, Love the Cruise, but I don't disagree with that. Last word, go ahead.
And it's easy to send a bunch of other people's children out there. And you're sitting here in Washington or at the golf course golfing, and you're just going to send troops out there. I don't know what he's thinking for no reason. And like they say, everybody thinks he's after the oil. I think he's after the oil and uranium.
Could be. Well, you say for no reason. Half of the country disagrees. They believe the reason is to stop them from becoming a nuclear power. But I got to go, Love the Cruise.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Looking in the comments, they posted a picture with the plane in the background. Really? Oh my God. That's not good. That is releasing too much information. There is a claim that Russia has been helping the Iranians. There is a claim of that. It would make sense to me, to be honest with you, when you think about the fact that Russia invaded the Ukrainians, and we've been helping the Ukrainians out with intelligence and weapons and training since it happened. Not to mention chastising the Russians for doing it. So, okay, well, now when you invade the Iranians, expect us to repay the favor. We're going to chastise you for invading the Iranians and provide them with intelligence and weapons. It would only make sense. We would do it. That's what proxy wars are all about. The Russians are essentially fighting Americans to some degree because they're fighting all of our weapons coming from the Ukrainians. They certainly were under Biden. Now, under Trump, we've helped the Ukrainians out significantly less. In fact, I think France and some NATO member nations have stepped up because Trump was going to leave the Ukrainians to dry out in the sun. He was not going to help them out. But we helped out a lot under Biden. So Russia is eager to repay the favor. And we would do the same. I mean, shit, fuck it. You helped them out fighting us. So now you got an enemy. We're going to help out your enemy. That's what proxy wars are about. Looking in the comments, though. Well, a map with strike positions. That's crazy if that's the case. They had military drills a week before we invaded. Don't think they stayed. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of this. I'll just leave it that way. I'm not a fan of this. If it turns out great, we'll give Trump credit for it. But my guess is it won't turn out great before Trump leaves office. My opinion of this is it will take longer than that to do what Trump is talking about doing. That's just my opinion. I do not think the sentiment is there. I don't think they're going to lay out a welcoming party for us in Iran. And that's what the Trump administration and a lot of MAGA tends to think that as well, that, the protesters will be happy. Like I said, it's the same thing Dick Cheney said about they're going to view us as liberators. And when we got to Iraq, they weren't happy we came there. Most of them are not happy we came there. And I don't think most of the Iranians are going to be happy with America putting boots on the ground as well, because we're not there for them. We're there for us. And we'll just spin it. We don't, look, once we put a pro-Western leader in Iran, and that leader plays ball with America, allows us to inspect their facilities and live up to the promise that they can't have nuclear weapons. As long as they're doing that, we don't give a shit about them oppressing their people. We could give a damn about that. As long as they play ball with the United States, they can go right on back to whatever they were doing to women and protesters, et cetera, et cetera. We don't care nothing about that. We're just using that as a gateway to get into their country, because that sounds more like something people can get behind. You're there to help innocent victims out. But no, we're not there for that. We're there to get them to bow down to the will of the United States, plus or minus a few resources. Once they do that, because keep in mind, President Trump was friendly to Kim Jong-un. Citizens in North Korea have significantly less freedoms than they do in Iran. We don't seem to care about helping out North Koreans. You probably heard his son and his daughter and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, made a $2 billion deal with the Saudis. The Saudis are incredibly oppressive to their citizens. Incredibly oppressive. Little shit like infidelity can get the wife killed in that country, get her executed. They're incredibly oppressive. Yet the Trump administration is very friendly to the Saudis. So we don't have an issue with citizens being oppressed in countries. We're making deals and friendships with oppressive countries constantly. Why all of a sudden the Iranians matter all of a sudden? It ain't got nothing to do with the Iranians. They're just using that as a gateway to get in there. I'll tell you this, and I mentioned this on a previous live. If a bunch of Iranians were able to get into a raft or some kind of vessel or even sneak in the hull of a cargo ship or something, and they showed up on U.S. soil requesting asylum, we wouldn't even let them stay. We wouldn't even let them people stay here. So the idea that we trying to protect them from oppression, that ain't true. We wouldn't even allow them people to stay here if they got here. Even though we're on TV admitting how oppressive and how horrible their government is, we would not even give them a home. So I absolutely do not believe we're doing this out of any concern for the welfare or the well-being of the Iranian people. That is insane. We're sending people back to Haiti. They don't even have a fucking government in place. We're sending people back to Somalia, equally as bad. We're sending people to Africa that ain't never been to the continent before, just to deport them. But we care about Iranians? Who the fuck believes that? Not true. No how, no way. But I do appreciate the 133,000. As always, you guys know what I always ask. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. If you favor this type of programming, follow the program if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, or Substack. Nevertheless, I do got to step away. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you, folks, on YouTube as well. Catch you later.